Hey everybody, how's it going? I am get off the cloud. Oh, my stream is coming through my audio. Noob. Um, I'm Get Off the Cloud, DM on Sparkles Mandy's channel, and with me is DM Geezer Jim, who has his own amazing channel. Jim, how you doing today, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself, man?
You know, it's Saturday, and I'm actually I was looking at the time slot that we picked, and I'm like, this is a great time slot. Most D&D games are kind of kicking down right about now, and they might be looking for somebody to come watch and maybe go over a couple of questions they might have in their session. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, totally, totally. It works for me normally. I usually get home from the shop around 11:15 on Sundays, Saturdays,
Not quite Sunday
holiday
yet.
weekends. One person out, so this week was sitting around playing video games till it's time to chat.
Hey, you know, ain't nothing wrong with some video games. I
How you doing,
was
Jim K. Bones?
user. Oh yeah, I was talking to Jim in Mandy's stream, and he was like, "I've been set my alarm for 11:30." I'm like, "Oh, get your rest if you have to." But yeah, if
I
you can
mean,
do.
we appreciate that,
Oh
brother.
yeah. So it's actually a cancellation. Those are as a DM, those are rough. Like I don't know how much prep work during the week you do for each session, but I know for myself, like I throw in easily 2 to 3 hours minimum per session, and that's for homebrew stuff. And when people cancel, it's like, oh, all that work.
I probably spend about 10 hours a week on prep at this point.
Mm,
And that's on. Yeah, so yeah, probably about 2 hours a session.
mm-hmm.
But that's like a 5 hour session. That
Yeah.
same thing though. You still got to keep them busy. So
Yep.
yeah, 5 to 10 hours a week. It depends. You know, sometimes, for example, I get lucky and my Desert of Desolation campaigns are in the same place right now. So there's really just flipping from one tab of the spreadsheet to the other, and I'm ready to go from one week to the next. And
Oh, I
the
love that.
resources for Salt Marsh go both ways for both Salt Marsh campaigns. So.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that it's already been prepped, been done. It's just 30 minutes of okay, what are we doing tonight? That's right, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Encounter block, gotcha, good to go. So in reality, 30 maybe 45 minutes of prep before a session for me these days.
That's fair. I mean, I do love those like those old tried and true campaigns. I think every DM who's done this for a while has one campaign that they probably know fairly well that they've run a couple times, and you just have to go through and bone up. Like for me, it's Curse of Straw. Like I'm like, okay, where are we at? We're in Valaki. Okay, have we done this thing? Oh, we've done that. Okay, so the next I do this. Da, 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 da. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I can do that. But when you're running something
yeah.
new, it's like, ooh. And then some of these like I mean, you can like I don't know about you, but like my homebrew stuff, I can go down the rabbit hole, and before I know it, I'm like 8 hours in. I'm like, oh shit, I got like two other campaigns I have to look at.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. For me, a lot of times I don't really consider it prep when I'm looking at five other things besides what I'm supposed to be looking at. You know.
Yeah. Or the worst is,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
not going to work for this, but if I take that over here, okay, now I'm going to do that. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, this is a perfect way to tie that into this.
Hmm.
Oh, shit, then I need to work on that up there because that's going to be okay. Yeah, and it's like, I'm not even on the same campaign I started on an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, exactly. Or you sit there and you look at a setting, you're like, okay, I want to throw them in that. Like the other day, I was telling you I was working on that one shot for the slime and the you did the plants episode, and I was like, I want to throw them in the high moors. I'm like, ooh, Dragon Spear Castle's right there. I could no, that they're gonna be like
Too
level
big.
level 3, level
Too
4,
big.
isn't it? But and then before I know it, I'm reading of the Dragon Spear Castle like 3 adventure. I'm like, the
The beginnings of maybe, not necessarily the whole thing.
there's I mean,
See, that's what always bothers. I'm sorry.
no, no,
Go ahead,
go
dude.
ahead, please.
So that's what always bothers me about some of the 5e Forgotten Realms adventures is it's in a situation where you're like a 4 day walk from a city full of level 20 plus people that can vaporize whatever's in that end game dungeon in 10 minutes. Oh, they're too busy running a city. Nah, I mean, come on, bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, they may be, but the 50 people at level 15 that work for them certainly aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
But here we're gonna wait around for our level 1 characters to get strong enough to deal with the shit in Desert Valley. Like Prince of the Apocalypse is a cool idea. It just the proximity of it doesn't make sense for the the danger and the depth of the story, you
Yeah.
know.
You're not going to go into Neverwinter and Lord Never's like, we have a lich in the rift, and you have to go like, really? Really? You don't have anybody in Neverwinter except for my poor level 3 party that's going to go and try to find all the little machinations of a lich? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I still haven't looked at the brand new book yet. I figure I'll wait till the Christmas sale and pick up the Adventures of the Forgotten Realms. Curiosity is going to kill the cat.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 2014 guy, but I got to see what they did to the Dale lands. I got to see what they did to Cormyr, Sembria. I want to see what they're talking about with Kalimshan now. It's like I've been bitching for 5 years. Well, if they fucking leave Sword Coast alone, people would like the Forgotten Realms. And now it's like they did it, and I'm like, shit, I got to see what they did. I might have to admit some of it might be good.
See,
probably not, but we'll see. We'll see.
I come from the same background. I'm like, it's cheese, man. It's like I want to look at the book just because I want to bitch about it. That's it. That's literally it. Like, why did they do that? This doesn't look. How does that work? Da-da-da-da. But if I don't look at it, I'll never know, and then I'll just be talking shit. And I don't want to do that.
Exactly. But at the same time, I got to remember my own advice, man. It's pick the timeline that supports a story you want to tell, because that's the plus side of having literally 160 plus years of in-game lore to pour through over 5 editions of D&D.
Mm-hmm.
You're not obligated to use the most recent facet of it. If you get into the Dale Lands, you're like, this was really cool. I wish I could have played it during the Hillsfar Zental Keep War.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up the 2nd edition books and have at it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but so that'll be the plus side. Is I'm hoping for a lot of the more modern, the newer DMs to look at more of the realms now that book's out there.
Yeah. Well, I know that they had the big drop I think it was this week or last week for Netherrealm's Fall. And I've been wanting to get it, but I'm like, but I could just look at the adventure in 3.5e. But then it's like, well, how did they mesh it? Because they're not going to put you back 150 years ago or whatever. They're going to...
2nd edition book.
Mm-hmm.
Second edition box set.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
The fall of the Empire, I think it was, or something like that. It was a box set they released in '94. That actually gave you 2 different options. One of playing, they kind of went with the Zental Keep model.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's happening right now in the timeline. Post fall of Zental Keep, pre fall of Zental Keep, likewise the same with the Anarok.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in and investigating it as the ruins, or playing when Karsus and the floating cities, the upside down mountains are being formed, and the what is in little shits called the Faerums were crawling up out of the ground, sucking the life and the magic energy out of the world. Which, by the way, that Sarukian Lich bastard, I still can't. His name will pop up later. Is the one that taught Karsus how to do that, knowing it would awaken the Faerum.
Yep. And then
then you're digging into another book of lore.
Well, Karsus Folly, I mean, that led to the Spell Plague, and that was huge. And in my first my first campaign, we kind of did basically everything. They started off running Phandelver, went into Curse of Strahd, then we came out, did some homebrew, went to the Isles, the Moonshae Isles, and then farted around there.
That's a fun place.
It was great. They didn't want to leave, and neither did I.
A lot of potential there for stuff.
Really easy to homebrew. If you know anything about either English or Irish lore, you could throw a lot of cool things in there.
Celtic mythology, Gaelic mythology in there, just outstanding.
Absolutely.
And it's small. It's a nice small scale, and they've never... That's not true. There was a novel, the Moonshae Isle trilogy of books that was written back in the 80-somethings. If you're really a fan of it, you can get the novelization background the same way you could with Icewind Dale or Menzo Berenson through the Drizzt books, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not obligated. There was, I think, 3 books on Moonshae. First edition, 3rd edition gave us Moonshae, didn't they?
Yeah,
again?
it was 3rd.
And then the stuff we had here. So I mean, it's beautiful little compact islands right off the coast of Sword Coast, far enough away to where you're detached and you can have fun with it. It's a good call, and they did include it in the new book.
They did. I do like too that some of the islands seem to scale in difficulty. Like this island has giants. You're like, oh cool, okay, so my level 10 party can go out there, and this one has a wizard. I'm like, oh cool, okay, great. And it's not like you're just, my fear is always, hey, you guys are in the Sword Coast. You're leaving Baldur's Gate. You're gonna go down to Dead Man's Marsh. Da, da, da. We want to go, to check out the High Moors. You're like, you're level 2. Let's not quite yet, Or we want to go and look into like because the thing is that that a lot of DMs I think try to do is they try to do that open sandbox campaign where it's like it's your world, do whatever you want. It's like you got to kind of lead them a bit. It's not like a video game where you just can't go to this spot and it goes you can't go here yet.
Well, and that's why I always talk about when we're talking about that kind of stuff on my stream is the inverted mountain.
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about the big bad guy, and we think about it's we're traveling up this huge path to get to the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
and one wrong slip leads you to astray. And it's like, so at level 1 or 2 or 3, we're expecting we have all of this space, and then we're going to narrow it down. I go the other way. You're level 1, maybe level 2, maybe level 3. You can only handle level 1, level 2, level 3 shit. So you only have to build small.
Yeah.
So yeah, I typically I don't say what do you want to do next until people start getting around level 8 or 9 because your average town guard captain is a CR6, CR8.
Yep.
These are retired adventurers.
Yep.
So that's where I start kind of giving the parties the larger in a campaign. Hey, this is a scope.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Hardbee campaign, they're a level 11. It's like you guys are literally top percentile
Mm-hmm.
of adventure / combat classed people, NPC or character in this region. You're making decisions now that impact stuff. So I don't necessarily get to tell you what you have to do.
Right.
I get to tell you what you can choose to do, and then we see what happens from it.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny too because like you think about, I do like the inverted mountain much better than the all roads lead to the BBEG because that does seem railroaded. But at the same time too, like there's a reason why like you're a level 1 party. Hey, I need this ale jug brought up from my cellar, and there's rats down there. Could you grab it for me, please? And then they get to go fight some giant rats. And
Totally.
it's like, well, we're not gonna. We don't want to fight giant rats. Well, okay, you got like goblins and kobolds, and they'll kill the shit out of you. So what do you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's giant spiders are always safe. Just 1 or 2 of them for a party of 4 or 5. If you get lucky on the saves. Let me rephrase that. If the party gets unlucky, I'm saying you, like me and you as the DM,
Yeah.
and you manage to poison them all, they go to sleep for an hour.
Yeah.
The guard is like, hey man, I wonder how them dudes are. Well, let's send a patrol out.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. So, it's a rescuable start, or you just kill them. They're level 1. They get to make a new character and learn how to keep learning how to make a character.
Right. I ran the I think it's the Lighthouse adventure in Saltmarsh, and
Yeah.
I think in one of the monsters that comes in there is a centipede, and it literally says if they die from the poison, they fall asleep. I'm like, I love this monster. This is a great monster. I don't have to worry about killing anybody.
Well, yeah. Oh, the haunted mansion from Ghost Saltmarsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, an outstanding adventure for a level 1 party, and it fits anywhere, even though it's set in the southern kingdom, the southern end of the kingdom of Keoland, on the Azure Sea in the world of Greyhawk. You need a shithole little town on a coast somewhere with a swamp near it.
Yep.
The end.
That's
end.
it.
Well, it needs to be coastal too. My apologies.
So you
that
can't
fits
use
in any campaign world, any backstory. You could start with the regional map that comes with the book and build your world out from there, or include it in your homebrew. It's super fucking cool, and it's a fun, simple adventure.
Right.
And if your players got skills, it's really easy to buff up. I mean, for example, I'll have Sandbalay, with an experienced group. He'll have an imp upstairs, invisible, closing doors and slamming windows and fucking with the party the whole time. And I'll have a couple animated dead skeletons running around upstairs to maintain the haunted look. He animated them, threw a sheet over them, and left them to go. 24 hours later, they're just walking around with sheets on them, man. Buff the encounter up a little bit if the people are good, but it's a good module. It's always been a really good one.
Hey, Bane, how's it going? Nice to see you in here.
Fish Bane.
Yep. I do hate fish, especially the ones that, want to come up and swallow you, and then usually dragon turtles follow fish.
They always end up, honestly, Right now, my groups are doing really good, but the last time they kept going deeper and deeper into the swamp, and they ended up coming up outside of Wayrest and the I-2 Tomb of the Lizard King. You wake home in the ruins of that, where the whole marshes ended up running into the fucking lair of the yeah. They left the coast and never came back. But these other two are having fun sailing.
Bane, you failed to kill a player. I think that is the DM's job.
Hey,
We are supposed to gracefully fail at killing our party.
There it is. There.
The other, we had our charity stream this last Wednesday, and I shit you not, I rolled 9 nat 20s, 9, and the party was like, "Stop!" I'm like, "I can't. Just click." You play Planet. She goes, "I just click a button and it comes up 20," and that goes into. I've had those sessions too where a player just rolled like 5 or 6 nat 20s, and it's like sometimes the dice just love you. Fuck my players. They rolled so many nat 20s tonight.
Dude, it was attacking our paladin at the end of they finished the Crushing Wave Temple in my water deep hybrid campaign on Thursday, and yeah, the paladin was playing smart, Shield of Faith, moving into everything she could, walking through them, dodging, taking action to dodge. I'm going to walk through everyone, trigger all their reactions.
Yep.
I think I rolled 11 nat ones as part of the 2 hours of that fight against her. It's like she had 24 armor class. I really didn't need that nat 1, okay?
I could have been fine
she's
with
already
10.
dodging. I'm like, oh, this is okay. Well, we're not gonna hurt.
So she has a 22 armor class with Shield of Faith.
Yes.
And so she's dodging so that you have disadvantage, and then these poor sons of bitches are trying to hit
24.
24 with the Shield of Faith. Oh man.
So after a while, and well, here's the thing. I will appreciate the play and I'll appreciate the effort. And I made the first couple waves swing at her, and then I had them peel off of her. Mm-hmm. And like, why would they do that? It's like, Serena, I literally just threw 11 attacks at you. They all are flailing helplessly. They're going to look at each other, shrug, and walk away because you're not attacking them either.
Yeah.
So, I was like, have you seen the movie Highlander? Yeah. I said, you're feeling like McLeod. Come fight me. Why won't you fight me? Because we can hurt you. Fuck off.
Because we don't want to die.
But at that point, all of a sudden, the fight completely changes because 5 things are like, well, screw her, and I run beyond her because she was the front line. Mm-hmm. So I respect the play, but if you don't make a step from there, yeah, it is what it is, man.
So you got to try an intimidation roll.
People don't use dodge enough. Dude, yeah, but
people don't use the other actions enough. They don't use grapple enough, in my opinion. They don't use the help action nearly enough, in my opinion, because everything. Yeah. I'm going to hit it. Okay.
Help. Why? There's Bane, straight up, buddy.
Yep. I even let my NPCs attack bloody spiritual weapons, but eventually...
No, he's calling help right in line with you as well.
Oh, I see.
Both y'all help action, straight up, man.
Help action is huge. And I try to remind players, too, like, there are other things you can do besides using the attack action or casting a spell. Because sometimes those things are more important. You sit back, and one of the things that like, my monk does on Sunday that annoys the hell out of me is he has a pretty high AC for a monk. He has like an 18 or 19, and he'll just dodge. And I'm like, you're level 6. The monsters I'm throwing at you are not going to hit a disadvantaged level 19 or AC 19.
Yeah. Well, this group is 10. They just leveled to 11 after they finished it. Mm-hmm. So they do face some heat. It's one of those situations where I don't hit very often. When I do, it's like 3d8 plus 6.
Some poison damage in there or something.
Well, I mean, the stat blocks being what they are, that's kind of how that tier of monster scales out.
Right.
My armor class didn't really go up. Mm-hmm. My hit points went up a lot in that CR 6 to CR 12 range.
Yeah.
You don't see a huge jump in the monster's armor class, but you see a bunch of hit points, a bunch of resistances. Mm-hmm. You don't really get a lot more multi-attacks, but your shit does more stuff. When I hit you, I grapple you, for example, as part of it.
Yep.
And if you're grappled, then my next attack gets advantage. So they build in a little bit more for that tier in the stat blocks. But yeah, you're still not lining up with their armor classes or their 2 hits until you get up into later level 14ish areas.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't feel that like every party that I've played with, they all want to go to level 20, and it's like, do you know how much work it is to build a level 20 session? It's a combat is so long, and level 10 I feel is like it's a sweet spot. You guys are pretty badass. You know, you got some really cool stuff. Probably have a couple magic items, at least one, and the monsters they're not too bad. See, probably I have a player that has a character like that, but he's a bugbear, 10 feet of reach. It can get a little annoying. Yeah, wait till that bugbear picks up a glaive.
Guilty. Guilty.
Grappling, yeah. And then they get that damn sneak attack too. The first round, if you haven't gone initiative yet, they do that extra damage. That's
no, bugbears across the editions have had significant advantage as playable races.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
from the reach, the advantage on the advantage on grapples. Mm-hmm. In I think third edition they were like grapple specialists as part of their kits.
Okay,
they've always had sneak attack damage or at least bonus to stealth. I mean, hell, 1E bugbears, 50% chance to move silently at all fucking times.
Yep.
You know, not even trying to stealth, just walking down the street. They all like ninja, 8-foot tall ninja.
Yep.
What the hell, man? I can't hear him. I can't see him. He go. Oh.
But they can also fit through the space of a small creature. I'm like, damn, these are some contortionist fucking goblinoids.
Straight up, Bane.
Level 20 combat.
Last session on Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, we're gonna leave D&D for just a second. I hate Dragon Ball Z because when I watched it in school, it was like one episode was literally Goku, call me on, and that's the end of the whole episode. It's just him getting ready.
That's not true.
That is so true, Jim.
Well, no, okay, because they would cut away to Piccolo and Gohan going, Piccolo, what's he doing? Well, your father is currently Vegeta, he'll never gain any power. But okay, so I'll admit that. You gotta admit the truth. They cut in like 10 seconds of dialogue to make that 12-second charge up last for 2 fucking episodes. I'll admit that.
Where was that SpongeBob meme when I was watching Dragon Ball Z? 2 months later.
2 months later.
They have changed it to shorten the original. But yeah.
See, that's why at least you always respected Piccolo. He didn't fuck around. His scenes were like, I do have to go back and watch them. I had friends that they were super into Dragon Ball Z, and I was more into D&D, and they're like, well, how do you not like this? I'm like, because it's 6-second turns, and I like that better than 80 freaking episode Kamehamehas. Thank you very much. And I was being a shithead teenager at the time, as confrontational, but you like what you like. For me, it was always fun, but it wasn't anything I was really into because the suspension of disbelief had to continue expanding as the show went on, and at a certain point, it's like unreasonable. Don't care. Fun to watch, but I'm not buying into anything. Just fun watching these. You know.
Oh wow! Look, a monk actually can do something in this show. Goku, what are you doing? I start casting my 72-second spell. Okay, Goku, what are you doing this turn? Still casting, bitch.
Straight up, man.
I think that that's actually pretty accurate. You know, and you think back, like you bring it back into D&D, like there are some massive spells like Meteor Swarm. I'm like, how is that? You can cast that in 6 seconds? Like, damn. You don't gotta like gather in the elemental chaos and disperse it across the reality and then drop everything. No, just I want balls of fire to fall from the sky. Bam.
Yep. It's like I guess we have to assume there's in every planet that exists, there's a small scattering of asteroids just waiting to be called down by the weave. Either that, or if you're strong enough to summon a fucking piece of rock way the fuck up there and it'll fall all the way down here. Why don't you just summon a hole that's that big to make him fall that way and close it, and we can get on with our day? I'm just saying.
It's the Indiana Jones of spellcasters. Whoo, and the hole. Move on.
I mean, I deal with it because I am a DM and that's part of the game, and for all the good there's some bad, and it's okay. You have to put away the logic
Yeah.
most of the time to have fun with it, but it's also fun to, we used to call it stoner talk, mental masturbation, whatever you want to call it. The what is, but that's like, okay, you can do that but you can't do that. I got to, and that was my whole thing with, but it's part of the game. It only happens once or twice a fucking campaign. I mean, a couple of my groups are finally at where I'm seeing 2 and 3 fireballs a fight finally. It's like, thank you. You have been level 5 for a while. Now you're level 9 and I guess I'll use another fireball. Are you sure? Yeah, I think I'll upcast it to 4.
Oh, you big spender.
Hey man, yeah, now down to what? 12 spell slots? Come on, man. It's okay now.
Stop trying to logicize my spells. I start casting it and put it in a bit of time stop to get my meteors down here. Well, that goes into like, does Toril have a Kyber belt of meteors around it?
That was my point.
But
That's my point,
but
man.
think of the funniness, because like, okay, so Spelljammer is actually pretty campy and funny. Can you imagine being in a Spelljammer, just cruising by, all of a sudden just like 18 meteors just go right by you? And that is how you have a GIF in your party. Some fucking wizard cast meteor shower, hit your Spelljammer, and your turtle ship is going down now.
Yeah, exactly. Some homie pulled down a meteor and a fucking eye monger ended up getting in the way of it. Bounces off the meteor, slams into your ship, and starts eating. Whoa! But, I mean, here's the thing. Have fun with that if you want to. If you don't mind expanding your game universe out to have that kind of shit, and you have interconnected things, but be careful of establishing that as canon.
Yeah.
Because eventually tables like, oh, so what are the odds of me casting Meteor and it actually being an Eyemonger instead? Oh fuck, man. Damn it.
Well, and it's like, it's too like one of the cool concepts, because like we do the same version of Stoner Talk now, where we all get on a call after session. We like, what about this? And then one of the things that like Manny brought up to me a while ago, probably about a year ago now, was, hey, so get a wizard. He's casting magic, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, he doesn't hit everything that he tries to. I'm like, no, that sometimes things miss. He goes, what happens to that magical energy? And I'm like, that could be a problem. That could be a humongous problem. You have, these ancient civilizations, like you go down into the, what's the forest in south of Tether, the forest, the Wildath. There was an ancient elvish civilization that lived in the Wildath forest for 1,000 years or something, because elves live forever. And what happens to all that residual magic?
And I think that's what the they try to do with the weave, to explain that there's something ultimately that kind of keeps magic. Because ultimately, even in the fantasy world, and I say we broadly, I consider those of us, and this is going to sound really snobby, and I do apologize, those of us that are heavily invested in Planescape, I consider us the experts on the metaphysics and the planar and the cosmology of D&D. Because it does cover all the different mythologies, all the different concepts, and the idea has always been that matter is neither created nor destroyed. As part of physics has been something they also adhered to in D&D.
Right.
So the plane of vacuum is offset by the plane of radiance, for example, or the plane of pure air, I should say. Because you had your 4 elementals, and you had the para elementals, and you had the quasi elementals, and they had positive and negative, da 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 da. So it's always been this metaverse of constant creation and destruction, on a multi-universal cosmic level. So the magic is always there in one way or another, whether it's bleeding out from the core of the world through the elemental nodes, or it's tied in through the ley lines of what's built into the world, or if it's generating from space coming in as radiation. It's really up to the DMs to decide how their world is connected to it.
Yep.
As long as you're buying into some sort of system that connects it all to each other.
That's fair. Can we get a plane of
pure players?
Yeah. Why do they always end up perverted? Look at your audience, Bane.
Dude,
I mean,
that's the second level, man. Send them to Dis, the city of man down there on the second level of the Nine Hells.
The Nine Hells, yeah.
I mean, if you're getting if they're feeling randy, by the way, yeah, go second edition Planescape book. This is the City of Man is. Whoo! Why was there a satanic panic?
That might have been why. But I mean, you think about it too. They're like, look at who was playing D&D. Like, you know, these are people. We all started off as most of us started off as teenagers. I mean, if there's going to be some butt and boob talk, that's who's going to come from. You know, and
it's no different with me as a fucking 50-year-old guy running.
I was trying to give us some separation of maturity.
No such thing. No such thing.
I'm sitting there, and you sit there. You as a DM, you say things constantly like, you know, what is it? How does this thing work? Well, there's a hydraulic pump, and it's ramming the thing. Oh, I said that word, and then there's 10 minutes of gameplay as they use that, and you laugh because it's funny.
You're like, yeah, and then it's like you're encouraging. You just threw corn to the fucking ducks, man.
But that's why. I mean, it's a fun time, and it's not. It doesn't have to be super serious. I love one of my favorite memes is how the party starts. It's Lord of the Rings. The Fellowship is formed. They're leaving. They're leaving Elrond's house, and then you know how it ends, and it's adventure time. They're like, that's about right.
Totally.
You're going to go off and fight the big bad. By the time you're there, you're like, wouldn't it be really funny if I thaumaturgied and made the bard fart? I love like you fail a stealth check. How do you fail the stealth check? And the cleric's like, I make the bard fart. You're like, that would fail a stealth check. Yeah, sure.
That's some horse shit. But it's part of the game. Mm-hmm. You know, it's that's what happens when you have players involved in it. And I mean, I think I get some complaints with some of the players. Then again, that's a challenge that I end up having as a paid in public guy is you'll get one or two players who are like, hey man, this table just fucks off all day long, man. Okay. I'll try to keep them more oriented, but you can speak for yourself as a player as well. I don't want to be the guy that ruins everyone's fun. Mm-hmm. Are you having fun while they're doing it? Well, yeah. So maybe you just kind of go with it a little bit longer than you really want to, and I'll try to keep redirecting them.
Yep.
But there's still the odd sessions like, would y'all shut the fuck up so I can do something? So anyway, as you blah 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 blah. So anyway, as you
get two things I'll say on that. One, that is not a pay to play only problem. I get players too that are like, you know, we moved 40 feet this last session, and I really want to get through this dungeon crawl. And I'm like, I get it. But we're having fun, and they're having fun too. So we all have to. I'll try to push them a little bit more, and you just bear in there. But it's a common problem. The other thing I will say is, oh God, I have my brain.
Gummy.
Hey, Gummy. Sometimes that lack of.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Sometimes that institution into levity is needed. And it's really funny, and I feel like as a player you have to read the table. Is what I was going to say.
Well, and for even in my position, and I ended up having to say this last Wednesday. It's like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to wait until there's an absolute awkward silence before I continue.
Yeah.
And they kind of chuckled and he and and everyone's looking around awkwardly. It's like, okay, so anyway, but we were able to move forward. Eventually, I pointed out, I said, okay, well, you know what? When you guys are ready to play, we'll play. Yep. Until then, you know, the rest of the table will watch you guys have a conversation.
And
it's like, Dave, I feel like being a school teacher. Like I feel like I'm a school teacher.
I was just gonna say I have a little bit more respect for my fourth grade teacher who would sit there and just walk in the room. Excuse me, like, oh shit, you can't do that. But at the same time too, like I've been told to, I have a look. I'll just start staring at Discord like rolling dice. Why am I rolling dice? You don't know why I'm rolling dice.
Yep.
But you have to taper that in so that the fun can continue. But at the same time, it's hard because it's a balancing act. You want them to be on task, but you want them to have fun. It's a game. And when they have fun, I have fun.
Absolutely. 100%.
So any big games this week? Any cool things happen on any of your sessions?
Tonight was canceled. One guy got sick. A couple of people traveling. Tomorrow, I actually have a couple players dropping into my. Normally, it would be Desert of Desolation B in my morning, the Saturday morning slot. Missing a couple regular players. Don't want to move the story, so we're doing a Spelljammer thing. So I'll pull all the fucking the stupid models and put rocks all over for asteroids and let them play space jumping through and blowing each other up with space muskets and space whatever. And who cares? It's one shot. I'm not going to take it serious as long as they're having fun. That's the goal. And then Sunday night is going to be second session of my new Silver Marches campaign that just kicked off 2 weeks ago. I think I have most of the people there for that. So that'll be all right. We'll be able to kind of move the story in. Ironically, you're talking about you're too low level to go into the High Moors. I'm like, or the Evermoors. I'm like, I'm sending a level 3 party in there this Sunday, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I said High Moors.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah. Okay.
But I mean,
and it takes up such a big chunk of turf to be that mean, man.
Yeah.
Because there's so many little starter areas. Don't go across that section of water because that's where the high level monsters are. You con the monster and you see a skull. What?
I try to tell that to my players. So like, keep in mind, I mean, there are random big bads around, and there are random little guys too. So, if you happen to fuck around and you look overhead, you see a red dragon flying across, an adult red dragon. That doesn't mean the DM put it there for you to fight it. That's called immersion, children. And that's something too. Like you have to discern with your party. Like, do we want to hit that? We don't want to hit that. Okay, we're gonna stealth. We're gonna hide.
And on the same token, you damn well know that party, unless they have like the attention span of like a goldfish, are going to expect to fight that red dragon sometime.
Yes.
So if you do that as a DM, you're setting yourself up for dragon encounter. So expect that as well, and that's cool. It's called Dungeons and Dragons. They're supposed to fight a dragon.
Isn't it funny how very few,
but
very
make
few
sure
books,
that sometimes
very few books have a dragon in them.
I don't think they're featured as major encounters is the problem.
That's my point.
They're in there just as monsters, not as creatures of immense power.
Yeah. I mean, for Crime and Italy, their bite and claw attacks don't even do magic damage. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like if I'm fighting an ancient red dragon, that it should do a little bit of magic damage with its claws. I mean, it's basically the essence of magic. I mean, how many creation myths of dragons are there now? Like 3, 4, just in Faerun alone?
Yeah, and who gives a shit about Faerun? I'm kidding. But I'm not, because if a lot of DMs I know rely on the Fizzband's treasury for their upgraded dragons. And it does a good job of really giving your dragons personalities, giving them additional abilities, buffing up their attacks and their stats. That's a Kryn-based book.
Yeah.
So using the dragons from the legendary Dragonlance setting to upgrade your Faerunian dragons,
Yeah, for those of you, like, Fizzband was he was a wizard in Kryn, the Dragonlance setting, and he was actually the god Paladin, I believe, right? And his mortal avatar was sent down to Earth to kind of keep an eye on things. Kind of a cool story. If you haven't read the Dragonlance trilogy, then you really should. It's probably, it was my intro into D&D.
Mandy there. Just saw her high a second ago.
Oh, hello, Mandy.
Sorry.
No worries. But
I know. Are they still blowing shit up?
Oh,
I was watching them blow shit up.
Yeah, they're still blowing shit up. They blow shit up for probably another hour-ish.
Oh yeah, man, knock it out, like I said.
But
someday we'll. No, I'll never play the COD Warzone stuff.
It makes me like we were so. Jim, you got me into Marvel Rivals yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. But I got done, and I was amped. Like, it was 3 a.m. I'm like, oh my God, I can't sleep. And not because I was excited, because I was like, things are coming at me from all angles.
Yeah.
But
no, I guess I'm the other way. It's like, oh, that was fun. I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
I get the same way with COD Rebirth. When I used to play COD, we would occasionally pop into Rebirth, and that's like everybody comes back alive unless you kill the whole team, and so you're like constantly just inundated with other teams that are trying to murder you, and it's like this is not getting any easier.
Yeah. I salute those that can play it well. A great shooter anymore. It is what it is.
You keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, baby.
I'll stick to my dice.
So we were wanting to talk about some alignments tonight, man. You have that in the title. I remember last week I was like, we need to say it early so we can check it off our box and be responsible before we get all rando bullshitty. But yeah, so good to see everyone. Thanks for being here. Jump in with questions, comments, all of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Not sure if you're from Cloud side or my side, but thanks for coming out and supporting us either way.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of them are the same people these days, and that's fucking awesome, man.
I do like when I see some of our guys in your channel, and then it's very. I feel it's a good resource to have, honestly. I mean, you can go. Everybody can go do a live play, but when you get into the lore and you get into why things work the way they work, it helps you as a player even understand. I mean, I know most of what you talk from is the podium of DM to other DMs, but as a player too, it's good to know these things of why monsters work the way they work. Like, we went into plant monsters, which like it said they don't get enough love. They really don't. But why are they the way they are? What is it about this stat block that's different than a beast or an aberration or something? And you'll find all that in Jim's channel. I will give you a shameless plug. Check out his YouTube channel. He's in the middle of not probably in the middle, still in the beginning actually of a Demons and Devils documentary. It's a Ken Burns style documentary. It's a Sisyphean feat.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah. It's like, okay, I'm done a little bit with demons. I'm gonna talk about the lower planes next. But I could spend forever going into the layers of the abyss. But why talk about it if you're not going to get into detail?
Yep.
But if you get into detail, how deep do you get into? I mean, shit, I could spend 2 hours talking about the demon web's historical relevance in just the print of the... Yeah, I don't think I don't know that I have the organizational talent to be able to put this together well. So it's going to be like 8,212 videos.
You need a producer.
Yeah, no shit. And some yeah, it'll be gigantic. It'll be, but I mean, it's such an intricate yet interesting part of D&D that's now part of a lot of, whether we want to admit it or not, alongside alignment. While we're segueing into that, a built-in aspect of a lot of players, whether it's their tiefling backgrounds, their infernal bloodlines through there, or whether it's their packs. You have the presence of fiends as interactive forces more now than we've ever had in D&D.
Yeah. I mean, down to like
ironically, up till 5, we didn't cooperate with them bitches at all, any way, shape, or form. Period. If you ended up dealing with the fiend, it was a curse. There was no good coming out of it. There was no benefit for your character. So that's one of the and that's kind of one of the challenges that I'm trying to say. Hey, these guys aren't cool dudes to hang out with, pass a doob and make a deal with.
Right.
Yeah,
they are literally the personification of evil, whether that's lawful or chaotic. They are the personification of evil. And I did like the tiefling sub races where like the that came from their demonic plane that I dug.
Infernal, abyssal, or Chthonian.
No, it was the like
Cathodic.
It was the Mephistopheles tiefling, the tiefling, the Dispater, I think it was tiefling, and it was I liked the little flavor it gave to each one of those sub races, because you figure if a tiefling is a mesh between a humanoid and a devil, well then that would be
But it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's a curse of your bloodline to manifest fiendish traits. Technically, the only demons that can reproduce... Devils, which is what you were naming, that can reproduce are succubi, Aranyes, and the demon devil nobility. Archdukes, nobles, all of that. So, dukes, archdukes, and all that, because devils are orderly. They expect the absolute control over their being, and they can't have their devils out there banging everything they want to make tieflings.
Right.
So it's actually, on the diabolic side, it's a fiend curse.
Okay.
Because if you cavort with those of fiendish blood, your offspring is a cambion.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And that's still a 5e thing. That's it's still alluding to the consistently lower from first edition up till now. So that's one thing a lot of people get mixed up is is oh, I'm a tiefling. My mom, did a blah blah, or my dad did a yada yada with a succubus or an incubus, and I
Mm.
was no. Someone a couple generations fucked over a devil,
And he cursed
and
him.
you and everyone that knows you will know that someone in your family fucked over a devil.
That makes more sense. Hence to why it's negatively looked upon normally as a taboo and a person that's not
Yeah.
to be trusted. Okay, that makes. Is it the same on the other side with the Azamar?
Uh, Technically, yeah.
Hmm.
The no, I think it depends on, according to Planescape lore, it's specific to the deity that the Celestials are serving.
Okay.
So there is more crossbreeding, hence the Aasimar being a little bit more prevalent from Planescape 2e moving forward than
Hmm.
your other side. Because demons certainly can reproduce physically.
Right.
So that's the demonic side of the fiendish. What do we got? Diabolic, abyssal. The
Hmm.
abyssal side of the 5e tiefling pantheon is your demon tinged.
Hmm.
You could feasibly say that your Cambion continued interbreeding with whatever, and eventually there's a tiefling bloodline, resulting from that, which is legit.
Fair enough. Okay.
And we're gonna get into a lot of that in that damn stream, whether I want to or not.
You
Or
want to?
not that
Don't lie.
stream, but that YouTube channel. There's so much. There's so much, and I that's where being an OCD lore nerd gets you, because it's like I'm not doing it justice if I don't explain it well.
No, I absolutely get that, but that's also going into why lore is important, because even if you're not going to dive down to the nth level of the lore and get all the way down to the roots of everything, you should go a couple levels into why things are the way they are. Otherwise, you're just farting around and you don't really know what means what to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I encourage DMs to do that. I absolutely encourage DMs to spend as much time as you can afford absorbing the lore of the cosmos, the lore of the cosmology, if for no other reason to figure out what you want to steal from it
Hmm.
and what you want to ignore.
Yeah.
So you can save yourself some work. But the things that you can borrow from, steal, downright copy, or even inspire will save you creation time in the creative process. Promise you that.
Right. So, in some
You know,
aspects, you
it's
shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. You know.
well, yeah. I mean, and I've likened it to painting a picture.
Hmm.
Does the painter go, okay, I think I need to, I'm going to paint a new picture. So I need to go get some sticks and some metal and some hair so I can make some brushes.
Hmm.
And I need to go look up how to make different color paint.
Hmm.
And then I need to go learn how to weave a canvas. And then I'm going to start
You
painting.
need to go chop down the tree for the frame. Of the
That's
canvas.
what brand new people think of when they get into world building.
Yeah.
I need to come up with my paintbrush, my system for magic.
Hmm.
I need to come up with my colors, my cosmology of my gods.
Hmm.
And then I need to come up with the canvas, the whole fucking planet that I'm trying to build. And then I'll start painting.
Yeah. No.
You don't have to invent all that shit. I guess that's always been my point, That's what getting the lore gets you. It gives you a big old huge fucking, gigantic tub of thousands of colors and pigments of paint that you'll never need to use, but you have the selection of.
Yeah.
you know. So, but that's just I'm getting all ranty in the middle of the night. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I honestly I was stuck at an airport in Tennessee for like 4 hours and I had nothing else to do. So I started just farting around and made my own little village, and I made a land, and then it kind of grew into that. And I'm like, oh, I guess this is world building. Okay, cool. I had never wanted to sit down and build a world. That's for people who had way more time than I did. But in the span of a couple hours, I had a pretty well fleshed out and everything. Now it's not like ready for sell, and I'm probably not going to flesh it out more than I have to. But really, you could start off with a village and just let your players build your world as you give them new adventures to go through it. You just need the basic framework for it, really. You know, what kind of terrain are you in? What's the god structure? If you really want to dig into it, what kind of magic? You don't really even have to. Well, in my world, it's not a weave; it's more of a lattice. Like, okay, it's the same thing.
Cool, brother. Gotcha. Greyhawk called them ley lines.
Yeah, exactly.
A network of magical energy that crisscrossed across the planet Earth, providing the arcane. Sounds like a fucking weave to me, don't it?
I mean,
Now, to be fair, Greyhawk came first, so
but I mean that is the inherent concept of what that is. It's like the nobody ever goes around and says, well, it's the square of life. No, it's a circle of life. It's a always rejuvenating and deteriorating pattern. And I've seen so many DMs recently. We're going to build our own world. I'm like, oh, cool. When are you going to start running your games on it? They're like, oh, well, maybe like 2027. I'm like, why?
worth it.
Why sit back and flesh out the whole thing? I kind of look at it like, when you go into, this is going to sound really minimalist, but when you go into choosing to have a kid, you're like, am I ready to have a kid? You're never ready to have a kid. You just go have a kid. Just go do it. You're married. You have a house. You have some basic things together or not. You're going to take the leap no matter what. Well, take the leap and start your campaign in your world, and start your one shots. Start fleshing it out. Play around with it. See what works and what doesn't. Because for all you know, you're going to spend a month on something that sucks.
And here's the other thing: is as a DM, put that thing called creative pride away and communicate with your players that, hey, this is just a work in progress, man. Some of it's going to be really cool. Some of it might suck. We're just going to have some fun. I'm trying some shit out. And if you guys have some good ideas, I might incorporate it. But I don't have an economy yet. I don't have a sociology yet. Shit just works the way the D&D rules say they work, and we're just going to have some fun. There's nothing wrong with saying that. That's how the game was played day fucking one. I have the keep on the Borderlands. Where's it at? Something about Carmakos. Mm-hmm. What's a Carmakos? Mm-hmm. It's a Carmakos. Okay, cool.
You see the thing? That's the thing.
and if we go this way, we take the Caves of Chaos, but the road ends over on this side of that. So you know what? This map leads us to the Module Life of Bot for B1 Into the Unknown, which sucked. Oh shit, you getting rated, buddy.
Let's go. And I got a hype train.
Oh no, Bane fucking gift subbing.
Let's go. Thank you, Bane.
Support the brother. Thank you, sir. And that's how it started then. We weren't world building. We were world building without really realizing it. Mm-hmm. But again, that was the early stages of the game where we were still getting our ideas around the existence of the game, much less the potential.
Right.
So the game has matured. The potential for the game has matured. The ideas behind it have been matured over 50 fucking years of play. It had to have, otherwise we wouldn't still be playing it.
Exactly.
Or I can't say, let me rephrase that. It wouldn't be growing in popularity. I think that's a better way to say it. There's a lot of brothers and sisters still playing 1E, 2E, Beckme OSR out there, mm-hmm. and all the love to them. Mm-hmm. But the game has grown in spite of people staying with 1E, 2E,
Yeah. I mean, but that's also what brings the newer players, as they get more, they take the training wheels off, they understand the game more, they've been playing a year or two, you want to go out and see what else is out there, because this all came from somewhere. This, 5e they didn't just go 5e, that's 5e.
I use 5e rules because they help me professionally teach the game and get people engaged in the game quicker than any other system that we've had. And lets them build upon what's there. Mm-hmm. I use first edition, second edition content in 75% of my games, mm-hmm. my professionally ran games. Mm-hmm. Period. The end. 5e rules, first edition, second edition content. There's nothing stops us from mixing and matching that shit except for your ability to be okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you sit there and like I was good the other day. I'm like, okay, I want my players to go through, and I want them to go into the Anarok Desert. What could I do in the Anarok Desert? And I'm like, oh hey, that's right, Empire of the Shade. They're in the Anarok. I could go take a look at that, and you go through and you see what else has been done in the area. I'm guilty of going to the Forgotten Realms wiki and looking up. I want to know more about Mask, the God of Thieves. Scroll to the bottom. References. Okay, cool. I get this book. I'm going to go grab those books and read about it. Thank you for the hype train, Bane. Perfect. And whoever else participated in that. I'm still new, still trying to figure out this side of things. Like I said, I often say I'm a kept bitch most of the time. So being on this side, I'm like, what does this mean? Manny takes care of all that for me.
Oh yeah. Well, appreciate you guys jumping in. Thank you for the gift there, Bane. Much appreciation, and mm-hmm. good to see Belmort and the rest of the raid. Thanks for coming in, guys. Yeah. we're going to do it now as we pause on our random bullshitting.
Yeah.
Let's do alignment.
So I'll start us off there. For alignment, you got your lawful good, your neutral good, your what's the one, chaotic good, and then you got the same ones for neutral, same ones for evil. At one time, this was kind of a barrier, and some of us liked it, some of us didn't. I think that everybody who played back in the other editions was like, why does my paladin have to be lawful good? Why? And it was the box you were put into. What did I miss? You missed two old guys talking about a bunch of shit. I really can't sum it up, sir. But
back in my day,
when I was first rolling dice back in 1990, yeah.
I had to cut out the little dots, tape them together. And... Tell me I'm not lying. Some of that shit came in Dragon magazines once in a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've just rediscovered the depth of stuff that is in Dragon magazines, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Coffee and Dragons. You're allowed to be here. I'm only insinuating that we're the old guy.
Yeah, totally.
But at one time, your DM had some very interesting problems with alignment, where you were a cleric and you're a lawful good cleric, but then you go and do something that's not lawful good, and it's like, well, how does that equivocate to your alignment? Now, Jim, you have a lot more experience with alignment in the other editions than I do. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, first, again, I think that was something that developed with experience and with collaboration from your players, understanding it. And the first thing that I learned when I was a kid was the key is, we're not trying to talk about what you believe is good and bad, Jared. We're not talking about what you believe is good and bad, Kevin. We're just talking about what's in this world. This is what it says is lawful good and chaotic evil. So kind of getting out of and that was always a struggle when we were kids, is getting out of the personal indictment. Well, personally, I feel that blah, blah. First and hardest thing to get done. But there was a lot of absolute mechanics: detect good, detect evil. You had to be lawful good to be a paladin. Protection from, it was based on alignment. Certain classes or certain items required certain alignments, and that's still here in 5e if you apply it, guys.
Yeah. Havoc just brought up a good point. It's only where is it? It only doesn't matter if you allow it.
If you allow it. Yeah. And we had this other book called Deities and Demigods. So you were actually encouraged to select a deity from that book, or make up some if you wanted, that lined up both with your alignment and your what we would call a domain now. Okay, your profession as a cleric. I want to be a neutral good cleric of A, B, C. It didn't matter. St. Cuthbert, you were lawful good. You couldn't be chaotic good and serve St. Cuthbert because he was a order of pure law.
Yeah.
But there was neutral good in there for the healing because, but you worked with your players on it. At the end of the day, that's really what it came down to, is work with your players to understand it. But once you had that understood and established the guidelines for, this is chaos, this is law, this is good, this is evil, then you had to stick with it, and you had to have enforceable things, such as you're no longer a paladin. You can't use that, I have protection from good, you guys can't hit me, blah, 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 blah.
No, absolutely.
So for the mechanics to work that go with all of these cool spells and items and ideals, you had to establish and be consistent with your system. And that still holds true today. I think it really does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anything, it's a good guideline for even in 5e how to play your characters. I like to sit back and a lot of people, they throw a lot of shade on the lawful good paladin, but remember, like back in the day, your druid had to be neutral. He could not be anything else but neutral, because the divine scales of creation, good and evil, had to balance.
Yep. We had to make sure that the natural world did not suffer. The natural order of things, growth and death, did not suffer for the wants of the outer planes and the gods in there. You were basically serving the inner planes as a druid back in that day.
Right.
You weren't behooven to a deity.
No.
You were behooven to the world, as it were, the natural energies of the world, the elemental powers of the inner planes.
And therein lies like the
which are neutral.
Yeah. I mean, you one side gets too big and the world ends.
Yep.
But therein lies like the modus operandi of the Harpers. They sometimes, why are they fighting to stop the guys from attacking Thay? Well, it's kind of trying to keep neutrality here. It doesn't make sense. I don't think it should make sense to players of one side or the other. I think that it's kind of an overarching theme of what goes on the background of your world.
You see, I think I kind of differ from you in that
Okay.
I absolutely established this is good, this is evil, and even if they're considered neutral, these behaviors are evil or chaotic in nature.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you start getting into that. Well, technically, an orc or whatever your bad guy, your giants, because it's culturally relevant for them to go forth and kill everything. Wouldn't it be chaotic evil for them to stay home and cook?
Hmm.
No, we're not trying to get into this philosophical debate of perspective. We have a basis of understanding for our characters and all of that to go through. It is what it is. It's part of the storytelling of the world.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess the big hypocrisy is when we look at Star Wars, we know who the good and the evil is.
Yeah.
And I root for the Empire every fucking time. I've been rooting for them since 77, man. Can't help it. Their shit looks cool. Sorry. It's an aesthetically driven choice, man.
Yeah, you're probably a Raider
But
fan
I know they're
too.
the bad guys. We can play that headcanon all day long to justify this, that, or the other, but we absolutely understand the establishment of the story.
Right.
These are the good guys, these are the bad guys. That's how your D&D world works too. We're establishing a world, we're establishing a story. This is the protagonist, this is the antagonist, and we need clearly defined borders to even understand the gray.
Yeah. Well, because without that,
That's the
there
other
is no
thing
gray.
is, I want to write. I'm a edgelord kind of shadowy middle of the road guy. It means nothing if you don't know what side of the road is either.
Yeah.
You know.
Hmm. Like I said, without good and evil, there is no gray.
Yeah.
And
So I think it's important to establish, and it's important to work with your players in the campaign in your session zeros to establish it, or give them it in writing. Hey, I'm not trying to indict anyone on anything, but understand this is good, this is neutral, this is evil. We're adhering to the Planescape cosmology here. Here's a couple of links to some cool sites you can go check out, and just understand it.
yeah.
And if your players want to play, they're going to be like, okay, cool. I'm going to be neutral good. That way it's not a whole lot of effort to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be good, chaotic good, so I can be Robin Hood.
Yep.
Ooh, okay, I'm going to be lawful evil, so I can be the corporate lawyer of our group. Cool, we're good to go, baby.
I feel like every rules lawyer should just be lawful good or lawful evil. Lawful evil.
Lawful evil. Because a rules lawyer, well, I don't know. A good rules lawyer is busting their friends as much as they are.
And
So that
that's
puts them
fair.
in a lawful neutral territory.
But they have to do it on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I get
You're either a Modron or a devil, you law-abiding bastards.
that would be a good T-shirt. Don't be a devil, be a Modron. But I mean, and therein lies like the actual true neutral. Primus and the Modrons and the whole plane of Mechanus. I mean, that is neutral. And I think that is. I don't know a whole heck of a lot about Mechanus, but I think that it's a very interesting concept that there's this entire world or this plane of existence rather that's working towards the I guess it would be
the continued function and rotation and interaction of the multiverse
that would be fair.
is
yeah.
dependent upon the machinery of Mechanus continuing to constantly turn and churn. The idea is that because without order, chaos exists as nothing but destruction. Order is fostered upon the multiverse through the laws of magic, the laws of physics, the laws of gravity, the laws of whatever rules you're using in your world. The Modrons of Mechanus enforce that upon the multiverse.
Right.
And to break away from those laws, whatever your laws are as a DM, as a world builder, are the Modrons of Mechanus will destroy any interloper because they fear that the destruction of the universe is potentially the result of the disobeying of natural planar law, as it were.
Well,
I know I'm getting a little ranty.
No. I mean, that's how Primus was made to be Primus. I mean, he was in the elemental chaos fighting, I think it was a great worm or something that came out of the void, and he killed the worm, died himself, and was remade as Primus. And it's very interesting when you think about it. Like, there will never not be, as long as there's a Modron, there will never not be a Primus.
Yep.
Because you sit there, oh, I killed Primus. Okay, well, his second level down, I forget the names because they have They have really cool
The
names, guys.
Decadon.
Decadon, thank you. Will come up and be the next Primus, and then one of the third level downs will come up and be the next Decadon, and so on and so forth. It's the best analogy for a beehive I've ever seen, except for the fact that the maidens still become the queen. But everything is not for glory. It's not for success. It is for the continuing progression of momentum of life.
Of existence.
Of existence, excuse me. Yes.
They understand death is part of that existence. They don't do anything to inhibit death.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything to inhibit anything other than the disruption of law in whatever state it happens to be in that world or in that cosmos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it sounds really cool until you realize that, most of an adventurer is not being a lawful dude.
No.
So
well, you got your murder hobos, which those are like, oh, we're good. No, you're not. No, you're not. Not to those people back in freaking Oakhurst. They don't think you're good at all. But I mean,
there's a lot of orphans that gonna argue otherwise about your goodness, y'all.
I've done it a couple of times where it's like, oh, we're gonna kill that guard. I'm like, and as you kill him, his wallet falls to the ground, opens. Daddy, I hope to see you soon. I love you. And then they're like, oh, I'm like, well, you just went around killing random motherfuckers. They have lives. But I mean, also too, like to keep with the Primus aspect. I mean, there was a time where one of the demon lords, I think, took over. Orcus took over as Primus. And
this was a. Oh, go ahead.
No, please continue.
Otherwise, I was about to say I'll blah 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 for a long time. So,
well, okay. So before you blah blah blah. So basically, Orcus took on the powers of Primus. Somehow duped him into giving him his powers, and Primus went into a cathartic sleep of some sort. And that's where you get the Modron March from. They were basically just going around looking for the pieces of the Wand of Orcus. I think it was.
Pretty close.
Okay.
He is referring. There were two super modules that were interlinked in second edition Planescape. One was called the Great Modron March.
Yep.
The other one was called Dead Gods. Kiran when in the drive to give the Dark Elves another goddess other than Loth, Kiran arose and attacked Tenebris, the plane of I guess what is it? 553rd player, something like that. Deep in the abyss where Orcus hangs out.
I don't think it was.
Goes down there, kills him, kicks his ass. Sends her two generals to hide the Wand of Orcus somewhere, drowns one in the river Styx, and destroys the other one. So technically no one knows where the Wand of Orcus is. Goes through this huge process of trying to remove the name of Orcus from existence. Remember, it's not worship that powers a god, it's belief.
Yes.
So Orcus is floating out in the astral sea, reformed himself as Tenebris, learns the last word while he's floating in the astral sea as a corpse, the spell that can only be uttered by a deity to kill another deity. Uses it to slay Primus, and he has actually moved into Primus's slot at the middle of Dead Gods, the beginning of the Great Modron March. The Great Modron March happens every something 144 years or something stupid like that.
It's some mathematical reason. The number.
It's a weird mathematical equation. I can't remember the actual numbers, but it happens anyway. But this time the Modron March happens early, and everyone's freaked out. Why? Because a Modron ain't gonna do anything early.
Right on.
And it's because
Modrons are the original wizards. They don't arrive early or late. They precisely when they mean to.
So yes, you hit right there. Orcus in position of Primus, slowly becoming Primus, yet also rotting away because he used the last word to kill Primus. Sends the Modrons out to try to find the wand. And then the party kind of gets in and out of the March and the Dead Gods module based on their choices. But ultimately, the hard choice is up to them. Do they allow the rod to continue rotting away, knowing that Orcus will end up becoming Primus and everything is restored anyway, or he dies and rots because of the last word, and the next Modron elevates and everything goes back to normal?
Right.
Or do they give Orcus his wand back so he can go take the plane back, which is what happens in actual D&D canon.
Right.
Is Orcus reforms, he gets his wand, he goes, and Caranthele goes and becomes a neutral goddess, Sorry, lore rant.
No.
I apologize.
But on that lore rant, we're gonna take a pause. We're gonna take about a 5-10 minute break and go stretch our legs for a little bit. You guys hang out. Thanks for being here, and we'll be back in like 5-10 minutes. And Thank you so much again for all the support. We'll be right back. All right. Thank you for the break. Much appreciated. Um, we are back. I am Get Off McLeod, DM over on Sparkles Mandy's channel. Here with the this is an honorific. This isn't a all encompassing title, but the lore master, DM Geezer Jim. You are not the pansophical, sir. I don't expect you to know all things, but you do know a lot of things.
To quote Dinklage in My Own Way from Game of Thrones, I smoke pot and know stuff.
I have my Mandy. She has a sweater. I believe it says I'm here to drink bourbon and know things, and she does both of those quite well.
Yeah, so. but it's fun. It's my hobby, man. It is what it is. I was kind of when I had lunch with a couple of dudes from one of my games earlier today, and how do you keep all track of that? It's like, how do you know everything you do about anime? How does the comic book person know that, well, that particular costume is a throwback to edition 42 of this? You don't question how they know that, but you question how a D&D person knows it. It's our hobby. It's our passion. It's the same thing. It doesn't make us weird.
Right.
I know, the Star Wars people. I'm a couple of those geeks at the same time, not going to lie, but it's still the same thing,
Yep, exactly. Oh, we had offline biddies. Thank you, Mandy, for the biddies. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Mandy.
I think that's actually a great point, and I think that it helps me to hold a healthy respect for what the new players actually know, because most of us, not most of us, some of us were lucky enough to play starting 40 years ago, some of us 20 years ago, and we got to grow with the lore as it was being created. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Jim, you were playing D&D, I think, somewhere, and I don't mean to date you here, but less than 10 years after it was started being created.
83 is when I started playing.
Yep, and that's a year younger than me, and I'm 42, so that's 41 years. And not to date you, but D&D's been around. We had our 50-year anniversary last year.
Yeah.
So there's 40 years of content that you experienced all the way through.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of one of those that you kind of, even going through a narrative of my experiences in D&D and the hobby and all of that stuff, it's still the same thing that we're doing now. We're exposed to content in different blocks that we liked or we didn't like, or why are they putting so much time into fucking Birthright? No one cares about Birthright. We want more Dark Sun.
Yeah.
Screw Dark Sun. That shit's hard. Give us Spelljammer.
I thought I had a healthy respect for D&D monsters until you went through Dark Sun. I'm like, the motherfucking plants can kill you, Jim. They can kill you. That's an
and ain't no healer.
Place.
It's not like I cast Cure Wounds. Oh no, you're over there polishing the shoes for the Witch King priest of whatever city we started in here, brother.
No one cares about Birthright. You hush your mouth.
I'm sorry, Funky Wood. How you doing tonight, buddy? Good to see you, man.
But I mean,
because I see you running so many Birthright campaigns at the shop.
But that brings up a great point. It's actually at a disadvantage on both sides. So when you were getting in and playing first and second edition, you only had first and second edition lore to work off of, and everything else was homebrewed. So you didn't have this 50 years. Well, not 50. Faerun hasn't been around. Toriel hasn't been around that long. But I mean, you didn't have decades of material you could fall
86.
back on. Yeah,
86, dude.
So you didn't have this. And on top of that, too, now we're also spoiled because everything's on the freaking internet. So if I want to know what happened during the Spell Plague, I go to Spell Plague, I go to Fantasy Grounds Wiki, and I Google it up and read it up. Now, so they have...
We had Dragon Magazine kind of doing the same thing for the first 15 years of the hobby.
Yeah.
This is pre-internet. This is, low levels, very high barrier of entry. If you didn't own the book, you weren't playing. If you didn't buy the magazine, you didn't know. Versus, as you're saying now, if you have access to a search engine and any sort of device, you can be as informed as anyone that's been playing the game for 50 years.
Absolutely. But that's also why you ran I6 Ravenloft so much.
We homebrew so much. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that was kind of... We had to latch it on, and and I guess that's why when we start talking world building on my side of the thing, it's like, just use what's there, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You have the advantage and the benefit of 50 years worth of gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
30 years worth of development cycles, good, bad, and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
But to just pick and choose what you want and make the realms your own realms,
Mm-hmm.
make Earth your own planet.
Yeah.
Korean's a little tougher because you really have to be a Dragonlance fan to not mess that world up.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of Dragonlance, the world is there built explicitly to support that style of gameplay, man.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
And you're still going to have to homebrew 80% of what you do.
Exactly.
Promise you that.
Mm-hmm. But I think that there's a difference between home brewing and world modification, because it's not like you're like
Filling in.
You're filling the
just filling
gaps.
in.
That's all you're doing.
Yep.
And you're connecting dots. Now, I have a healthy respect for both sides of things, where you come in and, like Belle said, that we homebrewed so much and you had to, and now we get to this age where if you pick up D&D today, you have 7 different editions you could play through. Like 3.3e wasn't really that big before they released 3.5.
Well, we're saying if you're including 2024 as a separate edition, you got to include 3.5 as a separate edition.
So that's why I said 7, because there's 5 plus 3.5.
And then let's be honest, 2E was dramatically different than 1, but they were interchangeable.
Yeah. It was still
So,
AD&D.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Now, so I feel like if you're the burgeoning want-to-be lore nerd, that's a hell of a piece of meat to eat down. 50 years of lore. It's like, oh my God, I don't know. Don't do that. Don't do that. Pick something you like and read into it. But
it'll lead you down. You'll spider web, man.
Mm-hmm.
You'll spider web. You'll go down wormholes. You'll pick up a lot more shit for it. You'll come back. You'll forget half of what you thought you picked up.
Yep.
But the stuff that's sitting there is going to inform your next creative outburst, your next build, as it were.
But also as a DM, don't be afraid to listen to what other DMs think about something. Get other opinions on it, because, like, for instance, there are, you want to run the Demon Web pits, especially the Demon Web pits. There are so many different videos on opinions and reviews of that particular adventure. Just to give an example, that maybe that there is something that somebody else did. You're like, oh, that's not in the book, but that's really cool. Or you go, that really sucks. It's still the DM's world. You still have to make it yours, but at the same time, don't stress so much that you have to run the book as it's written because that's the book. Sometimes the book sucks, as you see that a lot in 5e. There are a lot of times where I'm reading a campaign, I'm like, how Avernus was to date the biggest criminal in this for me. Like, why does it flow the way it flows? And why do I have 3 different adventure flow charts to run this one book? Ugh. Well, we're not going to do it that way.
But all of it was busy work.
Yeah.
Because they needed to be doing other shit the whole time anyway.
It's basically comes down to, guys, we're just trying to level you so you can go and fight the big bad. You got to go fight Zariel and
Coffee and Dragons. I missed some spells for tree. I agree up until the point where I start being a smartass and saying, do you miss permanency being cast on every damn thing? Do you really? I mean, some of the Fossabot. Oh, who's a Fossabot? This is your dude. Thank you.
That's the bot. That's the bot. Mm-hmm.
Cool. But I mean, I'm joking. Yeah, there was a lot of nuance, a lot of detail that was built into 2E, especially when you start getting your specialization classes, your kits, as it were. Ventriloquism is the one. Well, we have thaumaturgy, prestidigitation, minor illusion. There's a lot of things that we have as cantrips in 5e, but exactly that, cantrips. Now they're abused. It's not a creative use of it. It's a crutch.
Yes.
It's
what you do when you don't have any spell slots left. You sit back and you go, what'd you guys do in 2nd edition when you ran out of spell slots? Well, you have a dagger.
Darts, baby.
Oh, you had a
Mages
sling.
were like the best at fucking bar darts, man.
I wish that I would have been a part of a group that was like, the wizard, we make our money because we go into the town and he just cleans up as a shark at the dartboard. Why? Because he's a level 3 wizard. He has like 2 spell slots.
Yep. I got 2 1s and 1 2. I got a magic missile. I got a shield. And I got a web.
And that's how it was. And now you're like, well, I don't have anything. I'm going to cast Sacred Flame. Like, oh, come on. Okay, yeah, sure. And to this day, I still cannot justify in my head, unless you need it for a spell, why any full spellcaster picks up a weapon. I don't understand. Your to hit with any spell is better than your to hit
Are you
with a mace.
are you enforcing actual hand usage of somatic components?
Yes. Yes.
Then they shouldn't have a weapon.
That's the thing. It's like
Unless they have the feat or the spell
The
class
warp.
feature or the whatever, and then cool, yeah, go ahead and do kung fu hands with the shield and the mace.
I see
But
your
if you
wizard.
ain't got that, you
Wizard
better
has
drop
that.
that shit on the ground, go homina, 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 hey, and then pick that shit up next turn.
Yeah. Now, see, that sucks because homina, 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 that's an action. Dropping your weapons, that's a free action. But I'm making an action to pick that weapon back up again because, sorry.
I'll call it a free action to pick it up next turn.
Oh, you're nicer than me.
Well, I mean, it's an item interaction, but you're picking up your weapon, your shield's still laying there.
Yeah, that's
If you want your
fair.
shield, that's now an action.
But see-
Because I am a rules lawyer in regards to that, because that's how you force the creative shit. And but again, sometimes we're obviously we're talking about a cleric without saying what we're saying, because what other magic user walking around a weapon and a shield? And now how would you rule it what if I put my holy symbol on my shield?
That is okay. That I was just gonna say that because that annoys the heck out of me. Like,
Can't
well,
confirm.
can my emblem be on the back of my gauntlet? I mean, no. It's a holy
It
symbol.
needs to be something that and I'll give you a shield. Because that's telling everything and anything that's coming near you that either you're a good guy or a bad guy or an infidel or something, you're presenting it. So I'll allow that to be on the shield, because you're not like, oh, I suddenly smear mud all over my holy symbol. Do you? Do you really?
Do you really? You're gonna do that?
Okay, next time you cast a spell, see what happens, Holmes. Oh, shit. Never mind.
You know, and it's always see, shield
A
has
shield
to
has
be donned. It
absolutely.
does.
And that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
is you can give the free action absolute free of dropping shit, because you're going to make up the action later. Somewhere along the line, they still have to spend the action economy legally to item interact plus free item plus utility action, I guess is what they're calling it in the modern parlance.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, players, your DM could be a douchebag and send a little kobold over there to run and grab your weapon while you do your thing. If it's not your turn in initiative after that, I mean, or your shield. I mean, things happen. Ooh, shiny! I want.
You see, but at the same time, I know we're kind of going off on a tangent, but that's where I always feel bad for the disarm shit. Unless you're paying really good attention to an initiative count, it's you and another guy. I disarm him. Oh, okay, my turn. Free item pickup. I hit you. It goes both ways, man.
That's why I make it an action, because otherwise it doesn't make any dang sense. Something. Oh, I just gonna pick it up. Okay, cool.
But if I disarm that guy knowing that the next two guys are coming up, they can go ahead and do it. They can move away without risking an opportunity attack, anything like that. It is what it is. So yeah, paying attention to the initiative can add a little bit, but just a little bit of value to disarm shit.
I had a
Disarm, free action to kick it across the room. Well, shit.
I had a cleric of Tyr whose gauntlet was his holy symbol, but to cast, he had to hold his hand gauntlet out with no weapon in hand or shield, and he had to actually use it as a focus.
Okay, and that's legit, because they are going through the action economy of presenting their holy symbol, their spellcasting focus, and doing the somatic kung fu hands if necessary, and saying, in the name of Tyr, I'm going to bust you with my fist. Legit. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, is make sure you're, to DMs, make sure you're accounting for it. Not to be a pain in the ass, but you can encourage creative play for your players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that even it says too, like you talked about somatic components. Now, I've had a lot of new players. They ask like, "Well, can I whisper the magic spell?" I'm like, no.
That's a verbal. It
It's
says right there, spoken in a clear voice, man.
a commanding
Now, if you're
tone.
a sorcerer,
With freaking, was it quiet spell or whatever it is?
subtle spell.
Subtle spell. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, that's what gives that class value. So why would I let everyone stealth cast?
Exactly. I'm restrained. Can I cast a spell? Well, it has somatic components. Well, can I just like wiggle my fingers? No, you can't, because it's these movements that you're kind of bringing in the weave into your machination so you can cast the spell. You're not gonna be like,
Yeah.
In my
And
the way I
tier,
interpret
and
it.
Jim, I'm with you that because tier, if I'm remembered, is the mailed fist is their holy symbol.
Right.
So I could see you a big ass fucking oversized Warhammer 40K looking
Yeah, yeah,
gauntlet
yeah,
with the
yeah.
fucking gauntlet on it. That's some shit, baby.
Hmm.
I'm with and I would work, and I would encourage any DM to work with their player on those kind of cool moments,
Hmm.
but still make sure that you're paying attention to the economy of whatever system you're using
Hmm.
to make those cool moments worth it. If
That's
it's I do what I want when I want, okay, and this is what happens, we kind of start neutering the effect of that cool moment.
yeah. And that's
And
the
that's
thing.
where alignment comes into play, going back
No.
to our subject.
Yep. Hmm. That's fair.
The guiding principles of our worlds, whatever they are, whatever you decide. Not here to tell you what good and what evil is, but I'm here to try to encourage you to define those for your settings,
Hmm.
so your players have that balance of what is our behavior perceived as, and what kind of effect does it have on the world around us, whatever that is. Hello, Grim. Hello, Sexy.
Hey, Lex. Hello, Grim. How y'all doing tonight?
So,
Thank you for the raid, Grim. Awesome. Let's see. Message, spell, vocal comp. It is the message you are to send, or do you have to say magic, voodoo, hoodoo, baba? So, I mean, sometimes you have to say the magic, hoodoo, voodoo, baba, as you
but I
found out on
think
Tuesday.
I believe, and always the devil's in the detail, reading the spell, reading the freaking manual.
Hmm.
I believe the message is the verbal component, because
Hmm.
the somatic component is the point.
Yes. So you complete
My
this.
finger points. Humana.
But I mean, that goes into, okay, I said voodoo, hoodoo, baba, boom, 25 words.
That would be for sending, not
Sorry.
message.
Sorry.
Message is you speak to your target in a whisper
Mhm.
as you point at them and cast this cantrip. So I would interpret, because it's a cantrip, it's limited to a target you can point to and see, I believe, or it's
Right.
and more than, or I think it's 30-foot range, something like that.
Something like that.
It's not a big deal versus sending. Hey Vaja, how you doing? What you wearing, girl? Oh, I'm just kidding. We just finished killing the elemental overlord. Where are we supposed to go next? That should take some effort.
Andy, thank you for the
Sparkle's coming in with
raid.
a Gigantor raid. Hello, everyone.
Much appreciated, guys. Welcome in. We're just talking some D&D, about to get back into alignment, which is our subject for the day. Jim, to get back into it, do you feel that every player should have to pick an alignment?
Yeah,
I mean, okay, that's fair. Because like
absolutely.
I've had some players tell me like, well, I'm really a rogue and I don't really believe in anything. Do I have to have an alignment? I'm a god. And I'm like, you still
You're-
should. In my head. What's your thoughts?
That's character, absolutely. I mean, you have something, and again, it's not necessarily trying to brand the player as much as a baseline of where the character sits in relation to the world's morality. Again, the baseline exists for these clerics that are worshiping these gods, these paladins are doing this, these warlocks that are packed with that. There is a baseline there.
Right.
Whatever it looks like, so you're participating in the baseline if you don't realize it. That may make you truly neutral. I really don't care. I try not to hurt people, but I'm not going to let someone kill me over it. I'll kill someone in self-defense and not really feel too bad about it. I'm going to follow the rules in most cities, but if there's some starving kids sitting there, I'll grab an apple and throw it to them. That's neutral play.
Yeah.
And what you'll find is, if you establish that for your players, each of them along the way, as you progress through these wonderful epic stories, you'll see alignments shifting, or you'll see alignments challenged, which also develops your characters. That whole moral quandary isn't a moral quandary if there's no moral center, right?
That's fair.
So that's kind of why I'm a big believer in establishing an alignment for your campaigns, for your settings, whatever you and your players agree on, because it's still a game. We don't want to spend all the time arguing fucking philosophical morality and all that kind of shit. We just want to say this is what it looks like.
Damn, 89-ish kills as a team. That's crazy. You guys are getting
Y'all
so
are
dang
nuts,
crazy.
man.
I won't even like. I've played in Grimm's lobbies, I think twice, and I'm like, I don't like it here anymore. I don't want it. I can't take a step. I die.
That's why me and you are going to stick to like Helldivers and
Yep.
Rivals, and let those pros go kick us over there.
Exactly.
I'll snatch my MVPs and go, ooh, I did good, and then get on with my day.
Exactly. So let's take our DM hats off for a second. Let's put our player hats on. As a player, when you think about alignment, there's your alignment, then there's your party's alignment, and your individual player alignments you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis in the world. Paladins with the rogue, the age-old controversy of like paladin with rogue, how does that go in together? You know, what tools or approaches could players use to deal with differing alignment structure in their party?
I think it starts with above the table. Again, disclaimer. Even from a player standpoint, I have to do the paid in public DM. That's my experience the last few years. That's my primary driving experience. It's important to have that discussion as people, as players, above the table, out of character, however you want to have it. And I often say, hey, the one thing I cannot do is make you guys get along. If you make characters that you know are going to be against each other from the word go because of how you made them, that's going to be a problem.
Right.
So someone, and I'm not saying either of you give, but you need to give each other space to exist.
Exactly.
If you're going to be a thieving bastard, make sure you're not doing it in front of the paladin, because the paladin and I will absolutely fucking allow him to smite you.
Yeah. Or at least turn you into the proper
And I'm going to require
authorities.
the cleric to heal him because they follow the same god.
Exactly. Or similarly aligned gods.
So yeah, similarly, so I think it's important to have just have the discussion as people, as players, before you start. I think editorial comment here. I think we've got a lot of the games have gotten a lot of tables have gotten so wrapped up in the cinematic gameplay expectation that they forget that this is just a fucking game that you're hanging out with your friends and your family and your brothers and sisters and just rolling dice and having fun and making silly faces and telling silly stories and having a cool time along the way. We're not trying to produce a home version of the Mighty Nine at our kitchen table. And if you are, I'm sorry. Don't hold yourselves and your players to that expectation. Have fun, man. Focus on the game. And when you focus on remembering it's a game, it's a lot easier to accept these boundaries in regards to relationships and alignments, right?
So I'm gonna counter that with one thing. If you are a person that wants to have that experience, just find people that also want to have that experience. Find a DM that can deliver that level of performance. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be the Mighty Nine, but if you want to have a serious campaign with limited fuck around, find out kind of ability, find other players, because we are all different personality types, and you're good. There are teams that clash. There are parties that I've like, this isn't working. You guys, we need to have a talk. And it's not like the going to work and your boss wants to have a talk with you. It's more of like, I wanted this party to work as much as you all do. You know, I'm having a good time. I'm planning all this stuff, and we all can find. We should be able to find a way to move forward amicably and coexist. Now, if the rogue says, "I still want to do my sneaky shit, but I'll sneak off after the paladin goes into his room in the tavern." Okay, cool. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Paladins be like, just let me know when you do your sneaky shit. I'll find something else to do.
I was about to say, because that cuts both ways. The paladin can't suddenly go, you know what? I'm wondering where the rogue is, and I'm going to go wandering around town looking for him.
That is fair.
No, bullshit. You're asleep, dude. He is perfectly waiting for you to go to bed. Shit is what it is.
And that's where you have to let
roll persuasion. And you roll me at 80 because he's on the other side of fucking town, man. Just shut up.
Exactly.
So, but both parties have to buy into that for that to really work. For the rogue to feel like they're able to do roguey shit without the paladin feeling like they're a babysitter. Or a fucking parole officer, you know?
I mean, at the end of the day,
but yeah, like Jim says, a lot of role-playing argument. As long as the table's okay with that, it's not a big deal. It's just when you start noticing the two of them start doing this, and your cleric goes, and the fighter and the barbarian go, so anyway, I started a blasting, and they're telling their stories while everyone else is doing their shit. You got a problem. So
exactly.
Make sure you don't let it ever elevate to anything more than everyone kind of laughing and ooh, oh, wow, and then a minute or two, maybe 3-minute exchange and get on with your day. Otherwise, it goes from role playing to role play arguing, like Jim's saying there. Hey, Ginger, Chris, good to see you.
Hey, Ginger.
So yeah, I mean that's a great point. It can be some fun role play, but you're trying to avoid arguing in role play as much as anything else, you know.
I thought it was I had a great experience with this actually. The
Belle Rogue plus CN, my happy place.
Yes, Belle does like her rogues. She plays a very good one. So we had I dumped the players in Saranye, and they were talking about the morality of using zombies as work, because that's what happens there. You know, the Anton Misroy raises zombies up. They work his plantation, very Southern, very Louisiana-esque. And we had two different conversations going on. We had the paladin and the cleric talking about how do we go in there and we end this. And then we had the rogue and the barbarian going back and forth about, well, is it wrong? I mean, they don't really have a soul. Do they have a soul? Do we know? We have a zombie friend. Do you have a soul? You know, and it's like, this is great. This is actually good discussion because, you know, maybe it's not a huge fallacy upon existence that things without a soul are put to good use, that aren't just walking around the countryside, you know, hurting travelers. They're put to use. But on the other side, if your god is Kelemvor, well, you're kind of fucked there, and you've got to go kill those things by, you know, with all the power of Kelemvor. I had, but it was a great session because you could tell your players are buying into, because they're actually talking like, well, we don't care, but like, is it wrong though? Like, fuck they even said, fuck what the holy people are talking about. We're actually, I want to know that. What do you think? And it was this great back and forth from both sides of, what does this mean to these classes of players?
Now, would that have meant anything if there was no establishment of alignment or pantheon or anything like that?
I think that if that was absent, then you would just get into, well, what's the easiest thing we can do?
Yeah, how do we finish this quest?
Yes, exactly. You know, then murder hobos would be okay, because then we're not going to go and, you know, barter and do these quests for the town to gain their trust, so that we can go in this other quest to go gain their trust some more, to come back and get the MacGuffin that we needed to get. Yeah. We're just going to kill everybody and take it. It's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, but I mean, and you got a couple people that were in that game that are rolling in saying that was an awesome session, and that's proof in the pudding that if there's not a moral background for your heroics to seem heroics or your misdeeds to seem misdeeds, that it's just dialogue button, skip text, skip text, go play World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
You know, I love you, Baldur's Gate 3, but go be one of those 1,000-hour persons of Baldur's Gate 3, speed running it to try to get this last achievement that they missed.
Exactly.
D&D's not supposed to be that, man. You know, it's supposed to bring us into that. And as long as you have a strong relationship amongst the group and have these discussions as people, they're more manageable as characters.
I agree.
You don't want to have that discussion for the first time when the paladin's like, okay, I'm casting Branding Smite and I'm swinging it. Why? Wait, what? Why? Well, because the rogue did this. Okay, you need to have that discussion before that becomes a thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because
at the end
of the day, you are a party that is somewhat aligned into a quest that's going into doing something together. If you didn't need to be together, then you would have gone off and soloed it yourself. But you need a party to do most of these things. And on top of that, too, I see that a lot of players really want their player agency, which I agree with. You should be allowed to play your character if you want. But that goes two ways, too, where everybody gets that. Everybody should have player agency. You should not be telling the guy that wants to go into the tomb to go and get the MacGuffin. It's right there. I can see it. No, don't go there. And I'm going to stop him. Well, okay. Does that fit? Is that correct? Or are you just not wanting to have to go and fight one more fight to do this thing? You know, players, you know, the rogue wants to go steal something. As the paladin, you could be a douchebag and be like, I'm not sleeping. I'm going to watch the rogue. Great. You're taking a level of exhaustion tomorrow, and fuck you for that. You know, sorry. Yeah. Not sorry. I shouldn't say sorry, but I don't mean it. But your player agency is no more important than any of the other 3 to 6 people at the table's player agency.
Well, and I think whether we want to admit it or not, or even realize it or not, a lot of the "it's what my characters would do" things
that's on the same line.
Would genuinely be, I don't want to say stamped up, but would reduce in intensity and frequency if you spent the time establishing an understanding of alignment and my character's alignment. Now, obviously, the chaotic neutral, it's what my character would do is literally anything they want, and I understand that. I love running Slotty because the only thing they do is destroy because it's what they would do.
Right.
But that's what you are. You're not serving even yourself. You are serving absolute destruction and chaos. Not out of malice, not out of I like to watch things happen. It's like, man, that's enough. Shit, are we there?
Yeah, I think we're here. I think my computer hiccuped.
Okay, my stuff. I wasn't sure if I hiccuped or you. Sorry, but anyway. So consistently playing with the alignments that are agreed upon on the group gives everyone the same playing field as well. your lawful neutral understands where the chaotic neutral ends and begins, and they can work with each other
Mm-hmm.
to have a fun story with that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I also have to admit that it shouldn't ever become a thing of I can't continue on this adventure because my alignment is X, Y, or Z.
Right.
We as DMs need to make sure that we're allowing for as much width and breadth while being consistent in our lore and our world
Mm-hmm.
to allow players to shift. I mean, that's called character growth,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong too with changing your alignment, playing your character. If you're a fighter and you're a neutral fighter, you don't really care about much. You kind of just you bar brawled your way through to level 1 and start off. And then, you interacted with the paladin and the cleric, and you guys get along, and they've saved your ass a couple of times. Well, I'm gonna kind of go not chaotic neutral, but lawful neutral. I'm gonna go, oh god dang, I
Probably more neutral goodish
neutral
initially.
goodish, yeah. But there should be there could be a progression.
I don't fancy all y'all's little ceremonies and all y'all little trinkets, but you do help a lot of people, and I respect that.
Yep.
You know, fine, yeah, sure, why not? I'll put one of those on. They seem to do you some good luck, and, you know.
But that's
and
like
you can role play that really well.
Exactly.
You
That's
know,
like
if you'll buy into it.
that's like being I'm good vicariously through enabling them to do more good.
yeah, you know. And my Dragonlance campaign, and obviously it's a big thing in Dragonlance because there's, at the War of the Lance, there was just one cleric according to the story. I suppose it's a big ass world, so there's a few clerics over it scattered around. But watching my boy David just role play so well as far as, trying to lead people to Mishgal. Oh, you notice the symbol? Well, and everyone's like, okay, we're gonna let him proselytize for a little while, But he embraces being a lawful good elf who never lost faith in the belief of the gods, who has been rewarded for their efforts and left Qualinesti along this parallel party. But he gets into that, and number one, I love that it falls in with the actual lore of the Dragonlance story with Goldmoon and Elistan, building the beliefs. So that doesn't happen without gods and without alignment, and it's a great facet to the campaign that's added to it because of its existence. So yeah, alignments add to your worlds, man. I don't think they necessarily put the limits that a lot of players think that are there. I think that it gives them borders to color in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Color your picture however you want. Whatever colors you want to, Johnny.
Yep.
This is the frame. And if you go out of the picture frame, if you go outside the lines, it kind of looks like shit, don't it? And that's, if you go far enough out of the lines, you don't even want to play with it anymore. So I think giving the people the lines to color in is the key for us.
Well, to establish the basically the very 30,000 foot view of these alignments, you have your lawful good, which the order, tradition, personal societal code. So you're holding either the law of the land, or you're holding the law of your deity. You have your neutral good, which is they're not strongly committed to law or chaos, but they're acting in a way that they feel to their personal code of law is as it interacts at the time. Your chaotic good, which is the freedom and this greater sense of right and wrong, and they always have to do what they feel is good. And the other ones go through the same aspect. Neutral good or true neutral. They're typically self-interested, but they won't go out of the way to harm anybody. And this is something that is actually, I find, very hard to play. True neutral is difficult for me to play. I'm a good aligned guy most of the time, so if I had to play something that was true neutral, I would honestly have a really rough time with it. But there's these aren't, I wouldn't say they're barriers in the way they put you in a box. I think that's something that you said that I actually really liked, but they are a guide to what your character would do in any given situation, that you can find a way to apply it. Now, if you want to throw that out of the door, I mean, then why are we here? Why do we care about the MacGuffin and saving the people and killing the big bad? Just go and be a farmer and not let other people deal with it.
And can I throw this in here?
Sure.
Players, you're choosing your alignment. We're not choosing it. No. There's 9 of them out there for you to play, and technically There's 13 if you take the Planescape gradients of lawful neutral with good tendency, chaotic neutral with good tendency, etc., etc. There's technically 13 of them. Even if you're like, I want to be lawful evil, but I don't want to be really be evil. Okay, you'll go to Acheron when you die, the plane of eternal warfare and tyranny according to the law. Not necessarily to be evil, but for order for its own sake.
Right.
Cool, no worries. At any cost, as it were, you know.
Right.
So the players are choosing the alignments, so they should understand the alignments, man.
But that's your job as the DM to make sure that they understand what it is as well.
Yep.
I mean, your lawful good is going to be very different in Athos as it's going to be in Toril. You know, it does. I mean, the how you apply it and how you can apply it will be different based on the environment.
And that's why I simplify it when I try to explain it. Lawful. You are going to pay attention to the laws and the mores of society. Chaotic, you give zero fucks about the laws and the mores of society. Neutral, you're going to follow them when they help you out. You're going to ignore them when they don't, when they slow you down. That's so I look at them separately.
Yeah.
Lawful, neutral, chaotic, and then good. You're going to make the sacrifice. You're going to make the hard decision to help the people around you first. Neutral. You're not going to hurt the people around you. You may not go out of your way to help them, but you're not going to hurt them. Evil. Everything is to serve me and my purposes first.
Exactly.
So that took us. I mean, and that's exactly how I explain alignments in my games. That's how they're all run, and that's how my players understand them. And then if you're lawful evil, you're going to use the laws, know the laws, and bend the laws to help yourself at everyone else's expense.
Yep.
Lawful good. You're going to use the laws to help as many people as you can.
Yeah.
Now, lawful stupid is lawful neutral. A lot of people say lawful good, lawful stupid. No, actually, and that's where I subscribe to Planescape. Lawful good's the hardest of the goods to play because you're absolutely demanded as part of your belief that everything deserves redemption. That evil without choice is neutrality. Until something is giving the opportunity to choose between good and evil, they're not necessarily evil. That's how lawful good looks at it, and that's why I love that, and that's why I really love Planescape, because it kind of broadens your understanding of the intent of alignment in a multiversal setting. Because lawful from Mount Celestia, that's pure lawful good. So that has to focus. That has to be able to be explained and understood across all of the worlds in your cosmos, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's where you get
even if it looks a little different, it's still consistent. And that's where the key for the alignment comes in, man.
That's where you get your Torm, your Helm, your Bahamut. You know, these big hitters, and it's like I challenge some of my players. Like, I want to be a paladin. I'm going to serve Torm. Well, okay, there's other good gods out there. Can you do this? If you want to, sure, but it might be easier to go for maybe an Elistray or a Coralon or something that's a little less supreme good, and go after something that's a little bit more understandable. Now, of course, that goes into elf gods, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many gods.
There are.
And then people inventing their own so they can have their own god that supports their own personal oath.
Yeah.
Or the warlock who invented their own patron. Or
you could go down into the spider web of just, we are not even in D&D anymore.
Hey man, this would be a really good short story, and if you want to write it for me, I'll read it.
Make sure you publish it first. Make
but
$1
I
for yourself.
Let you play that. I can't actively let you play that as part of this campaign.
Right. I wish I had, like, there are some players like, oh, I want to be a firebending Jedi from, the Star Trek universe. I'm like, nope. No, that I don't even know how to process what you said, and I'm sorry. Like, maybe it's my small mind, but I can't wrap my head around that. Now, there are things you could do to make that character kind of in the D&D verse, but realistically, the players are the classes and the races are built for a way, and they all should be aligned certain ways. Like, I'm not a huge fan of, well, I want to be a female drow that lives in Menzoberranzan, but I'm actually lawful good. That's a stretch, man. That's a to me anyway, that is a stretch. Now, I want to play a dwarf. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say that gets you, and you can honestly have that. Yeah, 100%. It's like, and I would kind of like, do you believe in nature versus nurture? where would you have been exposed to lawful good within the Drow kingdom to even know what lawful or good was
Yeah.
as a highborn female?
Mm-hmm.
You would not know it.
Yeah.
You would never understand the concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're nature or nurture,
Yeah,
that doesn't exist.
you just are, because that's all you've been built to be. Now, I could understand, like,
Now, if you're level 5 start,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I grew up in this, that, or the other, and as part of my rite of passage, I went out to the Arkan board guard post, and we went out on a nighttime raid, and I felt the cool air on my skin and saw the stars above, and I realized there was beauty in the world, and I couldn't do it, and I ended up having to run from my party. I've been on the run since. That's a great starting point for a dark elf who wants to do that. You can't be that level 1 chick, right?
Alignments can change.
I think 100%.
Yeah. I think,
but I think if you're tying, go ahead, please.
No, I was just gonna say, Jim K. Bones says alignments can change over time, though players' actions throughout. Yeah, I mean that's in my own personal experience, that's every D&D character I've ever made. I built them with this a picture in my head, and by the time the campaign's done, they were not that thing.
Your idealistic lawful good is always bordering on neutral, going into chaotic good at best. Your neutral people either go chaotic neutral or lawful evil.
Yeah.
Because, most of your, honestly, if you're not lawful good, you end up lawful evil.
Yeah.
If you're playing by an alignment, because I know what's right, damn you, and if you don't listen to me, I'm going to make you listen to me.
Exactly.
Which is honestly most paladins.
That's how I feel about the zone of truth spell. You're taking away somebody's ability to control you're taking away their personal ability to do what they want to do, their free will.
Well, you don't force them. They can choose not to answer a question.
They can. That's still not the same thing, though, because either I answer I either don't answer your question.
I don't answer any question. I respect that you need to understand the truth, but this is absolutely a violation of my freedom and my mind. I'm not going to answer any question you ask me.
Yeah.
So I've moved that off of the table entirely. Oh, he must be guilty, or maybe he really believes that this is horse shit. If you really want to do it, cast Dominate Monster or Dominate Person on me and make me tell you.
Yeah.
And then see what happens after that spell wears off,
Exactly. But see, that's the thing, though. It's like, I mean, as a mindset, that makes sense right now, out of session, not playing a game. But when you're in a session, you tell the player, well, he's not going to answer you anything. Well, he's automatically guilty, because if it wasn't that bad, you would tell me. And then I have to go in through and try to explain to you, while not taking time away from my other players on the table, why this person, maybe they really believe in. You say that, but at the same time, you lose people with that, and then they're going to get the feelings kind of grow into, you're wasting our time. Why are we even doing this? And I don't know that's like, and I'm just using that spell as because you're right. You could cast Dominate Monster or Dominate Person and get what you want, but they all aren't they all on the same vein, though? Like, I'm subtly trying to make you tell me something you don't want to tell me, versus I'm going to make you. One's just worse. They're the same thing, really, but it's a paladin spell.
Well, and I guess in my mindset, that's part of the mystery of the game that we remove if we go, okay, above the table. If I cast Zone of Truth on you and you had the opportunity to not answer me, what would you do? Well, obviously I wouldn't answer you because you're the antagonist, you're the whatever. So you break that moment of immersion. Let them wonder about it for a little bit. Make them, kind of we're joking, that the Trial of the Beast module we looked at. There's multiple layers that they have to dig, otherwise they look the wrong way. And if we break, and my concern is always, if I break out of the moment for every one of those situations to explain, look, this is their perspective, and I need you to understand their perspective. They don't get to discover that perspective.
Right. That's fair.
I like putting it, but I also 100% understand what you're saying is valid. That some players will, well, that's my idea, and if it's not good enough, fuck you.
Yeah.
On the extreme, and you don't want that either. So that's fair. You want to reward their play. And you can tell them he absolutely believes in truth what he just told you, that this is a moral thing, that he feels that this spell is a thing. You have understood that from your Zone of Truth casting. If you can talk to him in another way, you might be able to find him through actual personal contact rather than forcing him. But he understands that you don't compel them to act. And it's not out of anything other than the desire to not open their mind to you in this way.
Right.
And you can, I think you can explain it in such ways to where he's a dick, but I understand where he's coming from because I wouldn't be any different.
That's the best possible outcome you can come with getting nothing from that spell. I had 2 instances of something like that happening fairly recently. I had a player ask me, would Zone of Truth pass as evidence in a court case? And I was like, oh, that's a good one. And I honestly didn't have an answer for it. I'm like, well, I mean, it's, how do you prove that? First of all, how do you prove they passed the saving throw?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man, but
well, that goes into alignment and magic and world building.
Mm-hmm. So as the conversation went on, it was like, well, what if I'm a level 12 paladin and I've been serving this nation for so many years? It's the weight of my word, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, that kind of would be the weight of your word and who you are as a paladin, that you can present this confession at this particular instance, that it could be evidence. I would still say you would need hard evidence. Honestly, I don't think anybody's getting convicted of a crime with a spell. The other thing is, so the player that I play on Grimm's table is a chronomance wizard, chronology wizard, time wizard, and well, Mandy is playing a paladin, and I casted, I think it was the one spell that everybody hates. It's the level one that makes them reroll again. I can't. Silvery Barbs.
Silvery Barb.
Yeah. So, but I flavor it to be more of a time thing than anything else. And, she turns to me, she goes, Bird, you're taking away people's free will to do what they want to do. I'm an owlin, so Bird.
Yeah.
And, she's like, don't do that to me. I don't want that at all. And I'm like, I kind of am taking away their free will by using some magic does in fact, impact people's free will. You can, friends does impact what they do.
Yeah, I was about to say, Silvery Barbs is more twisting the strands of fate, not necessarily choice. But I follow what she's saying.
Yeah.
I 100% go along with that. I love what Jim said there. 3 truths, mine, yours, and the actual.
Yeah.
I'm an old Babylon 5 fan that always reminds me of that Vorlon saying, man, truth is a triple-edged sword. You're like, huh? Yours, theirs, and the actual. It's like, ooh, love, but yeah, and we have trivializing theirs or yours being the NPC.
It was just some concepts that get into more of the mindset of how these effects work, because like you think about it, you're a fighter. You really don't have anything that does that. I mean, unless you go into like Eldritch Knight or what have you, but the basic, champion fighter, the best thing you got to make somebody do what you want them to do is an intimidation roll. So it's like,
well, but if you're a fighter, you're typically following orders, not giving them.
That's
a paladin or a knight or something like that. So that's where my mind goes. If you're a soldier, you're more looking for the leader, not wanting to be the leader. And a lot of times you end up as the reluctant leader because you're the fighter. But that's how I kind of approach that, man. I especially if I'm a soldier background. Dude, I'm following in line with whoever is the leader of this outfit. I'm going to make sure we're doing what the leader says, because that's how a good unit succeeds. So you're right. Fighters are absolved of a lot of responsibility.
Exactly. Why does my...
As far as moral or alignment shit goes.
Right. But it goes back into the alignment talk. You sit there and go, do the full spellcasters have to deal with alignment more often because it's more subtle? Their alignment shift, like, oh, the good guy of the town won't give us what we wanted to give us. He won't tell me where it is. I'm going to cast Zone of Truth on him, and I'm going to make him tell me what to do if he fails to save. Okay, say it all works, and say he does that. I'm just using Zone of Truth because that's a good example for this right now. Of course, he could not answer, but let's say he does. Does that affect your alignment? Should it affect your alignment?
It depends on what your alignment was to start with, obviously.
Well, yeah. But let's say lawful.
I mean, if you're neutral, let's start with neutral good.
Okay.
Because that's a pretty popular alignment. Or even chaotic. I mean, obviously chaotic good, you can justify anything that helps the greater good. And that's why chaotic good, chaotic neutral is a super popular alignment for modern players, because I get to do what I want and absolve myself of any responsibility because I'm chaotic and you can't punish me for making a choice because it's just what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
Well, fucking, if you chop down a tree and it falls on you, that's your choice, not you know. I mean, come on. And you're gonna act like I'm punishing you for being chaotic when you literally collapse a building because of your chaotic energy. That's not my fucking fault.
Nope.
Bite my ass, you know?
And I feel like a lot of times too,
I
like
will
they,
allow you to do that,
yeah,
and you can reap the rewards like a fucking slotty would.
yep.
And they would bust out there going, oh, fun, next building, you know?
But I also feel a lot of times players look for the DM to get them out of bad situations that they've got themselves into in this vein of play.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if I'm going to be completely honest, sometimes as a DM, I feel responsible to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, if there's any way in my mind that I can rationalize that I may have led them down this on a misunderstood clue,
Mm-hmm.
or they misinterpreted the cultural relevance or whatever, I'll try to backtrack them out of it. But if it's an absolute deliberate, yeah, we know, are you sure? Yeah, okay, fuck it. And then at that point, what happens, man.
That's
Because I think, you know, again, we're playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to build towards some massive ending. And if we hit some faux pas that blows up into the next freaking front of a war that shouldn't be happening because they said the wrong thing to a wrong person,
mm-hmm.
I feel obligated to give them an above-the-table checkpoint.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Guys, you following with that?
Not necessarily giving them any spoilers,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily doing anything, but okay, hey, time out, guys. Are you aware of what's going on here? Did you understand? What do you as players understand versus your characters?
Mm-hmm.
And when they say, "Oh, absolutely, I understand," as a player, as Bob here understands what you're saying, but Gragnor don't like these fuckers. He don't care, and he's gonna do what he's gonna do.
Yes, Bell,
I understand
absolutely.
Gragnor.
Chaotic does not equal no consequences. You're absolutely right.
100%.
Chaotic means you can justify whatever you do. It doesn't mean that other people
To yourself.
Yeah.
You can justify it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean the sheriff's not going to care what you think, but it doesn't mean that other people using their alignments aren't going to justify what you did, maybe negatively. You know,
You can't put me in jail, officer. I'm chaotic neutral. It's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 87% of the town says we're lawful good, so you're going to jail.
which gets to be very
Cultural norms, regional laws, things that are understood and built around alignments.
which gets to be very interesting when you're level 16 parties going into, you know, a decently sized town. You're like, well, nobody's gonna fuck with us here. I'm like, that's fair. I mean, it's a town of 1,000 people. They might not have anything that could hurt you, but you should still act accordingly.
And if your players behave that way, then they are what another level 16, 18 party from the next city over has to go deal with. Because how many times have our party had to go deal with some crazy shit that shows up in a town, right?
What's an alignment, criminal? You're going to jail.
Alignments. We ain't heard no alignments. You're going to jail, boy.
Guys, we made a mistake. I thought that the sheriff was a paladin. He's a fighter. He doesn't care. Break me out of prison.
Fighter. You see armor on these pecs, boy, I'm a barbarian. Oh, we're so fucked.
and that's when Kunkar, the freaking Goliath sheriff of the freaking of the northern town, is be like, "Oh man!"
And make me a grapple save real quick, please. As he activates his Path of the Giants rune and doubles in size.
Yeah, a criminal ends up a criminal no matter the reason for committing the crime. But I mean, these are what I love to see is when the players, regardless of alignment, realize the value of other alignments. Yes, maybe you are lawful good as a paladin, and your rogue is maybe neutral good, neutral. But who else is going to go in there and go into the camp and maybe assassinate the general so that tomorrow when you fight, it's an easier fight? You know, there is a need for those kinds of things.
And yeah, absolutely. But again, I think at the risk of repeating ourselves, alignments will matter as long as you and your players can establish the baselines.
Yes.
And your players have the response. It's not something me or you or any GM can really do without otherwise making them feel like they're playing through our novel. You can't act like that because that's not your alignment. And you're lawful good, so you have to say this. And you're chaotic neutral, and you have to stand over there and act like that. Action. No, dude, we ain't fucking directors. We ain't writers. We're producers.
See, and that's something I had to
build a scene. And I'm sorry.
No,
ahead.
that's something I had to roll back when I started DMing. That was like, well, you really shouldn't do that because of this and this and that. It's like, no, I'm not directing. You're right. I'm not directing a play here. I'm telling a story, and they are the actors. They're making the story as I'm going through it. So, who am I to stop you? Really, I can give you warnings.
Your cleric acts like a dick the next day after the long rest. Oh, do me a favor. Go ahead and mark off all your spell slots above third. Why? Maybe you should spend an hour using your atone spell that you didn't remember last night. I guess you'll get those back tomorrow, won't you, after you talk to your god? Shit. Is this about the...
Probably.
Maybe I ought to go talk to your god about that with atonement, buddy. So there's mechanical ways to really do that. You know? You're not breaking their character. You're not forcing them to stop being a cleric. You're giving them some clear warning signs that, hey, dude, you know, you're not in my and if you still choose to spit in the eye of the deity and say, I don't care, I draw all of my power from you and my people live because of you, I'm not doing what you say. I think you have space as a DM to go, welcome to being a commoner, son.
Now,
you know?
I will preface that with saying, guys, I'm a DM. I am not a philosopher. I am not a theologian. I am just a dude who's trying to make a believable world. So when something like all your spell slots above level 3 are checked off because your god is mad at you, that's not me trying to fuck you over as a player for doing what you did. It's how I interpret what your deity would feel about what your actions were. You know, it's not like, you know, we're out to get you. Once again, we're just trying to provide a cause, or you provide the cause, we provide the effect. Some of them are good. Sometimes you know, there have been times where the paladin does some fucking amazing paladin shit. And I'm like, yeah, you get a smite for that. The power of freaking tear comes down and just hits your weapon, and you are gonna whack and roll me 2d8 on top of that, whatever your damage was.
And it's story building moments as well. If everyone's willing to buy into it, you know, I mean. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a big old Simpsons fan. It's like I always think of the Simpsons when Homer's in heaven. What's the matter, Homer? I think our clerics can talk to their deities and that kind of a thing. God, it just really makes me mad. Okay, moving forward, because you know, I mean, I think that's okay.
Yep.
I genuinely do. How's a cleric's relationship with their deity different than the warlock dropping into their genie bottle to smoke a fat one with their djinn patron and you know, we cool, yeah, and go on with, okay, it's within the realm of both classes, but also that the djinn should be every once in a while saying, you know what, when you gonna do for me, son?
Yeah.
There's terms of our pact, and yeah, I get it. You're saving the world, but that doesn't mean dick to me. I'm eternal.
Yeah,
your world will rise and crumble 10 times before my life is over. I need you to do this. Because that's what we agreed to.
10,000 years gives you such a crick in the neck. Definitely.
But that's establishing the pantheons, establishing the alignments, all of that kind of, and I think a lot of that drives from either establishing your cosmology, which drives your alignment, or establishing your alignment, which drives your cosmology. But they're absolutely interchangeable.
Exactly.
Or I don't want to say interchangeable; they're interlocked.
They are in fact linked. Yes. I do feel that you know, at the same time, if we focus a lot on paladins and clerics, because they're technically, in my opinion, the easy ones. When you get into warlock,
they're necessary. Their power
are.
Is coming from their divine.
But also so too is a warlock. And then you get into some gray area, which I feel like is a divine soul sorcerer, where you're not necessarily linked to your god. You are basically a sub-manifestation of the power of the thing that came in your bloodline.
You're some leftover oopsie from some other stuff.
Yeah.
And good on you. And at least this oopsie helps people rather than blowing up in everyone's wild magic faces. And the Celestials are okay with letting that ride, man.
See, Jim brings up a good point that I want to kind of elaborate on. Exactly. I hate when warlocks don't work towards fulfilling their pact. That is a double-edged sword there. Or it's a two-sided coin, excuse me, not double-edged sword. Two-sided coin. One, as a DM, before session 1, they should know what their pact
What's
is.
your pact?
You should establish a pact. And it's almost a mini role play moment where they meet their patron or their their patron, and you establish, well, how did you meet, Dweeblex, who would probably never have a fucking warlock, but you know what I mean.
You get the power of snot and vomit. That's it.
That's great. You have a cold. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll give you a contagion spell. There you go.
I thought of Dweeblex. Huh?
We don't.
I thought no Dweeblex.
All I'm hearing is Ron Weasley eat slugs. But I mean, but that's as a DM when before session 1, because warlocks get their freaking patron at level 1. I don't know why. Like, I don't understand why it's not a level 3 thing where you have to progress through and meet your deity as you play. But that's how it was written, so we go with it.
I think I'm the other way. I think I'm okay with warlocks having that shit at 1, but I think paladins and clerics should have they shit at 1 too.
I think clerics do.
Clerics do.
Yeah, paladins
should have be taking their oath at that level, because you're only a paladin even if you ignore the whole alignment and deity part of it, which isn't required for 5e. You're only getting that power because you believe so much in this oath. Mm-hmm. So you still waffle around up until level 3 to go, yeah, that's the one I like. Exactly. No, you knew that shit when you made a paladin.
That's absolutely fair.
You know,
you're not sitting there.
From Dr. Horrible.
I have never seen Dr. Horrible.
Oh,
I don't think I would like Moist, though. That doesn't sound nice. But I mean, that is absolutely true. Like when you're not going to, Jim Crow's freaking School of Paladins where it's a catch-all and you just train for 2 levels and then you pick your oath. No, you're at the Order of the Radiant Heart where you're devoted to Helm and you're going to take the oath of,
Now, that would be legit, Jim. Jim saying a Templar until 3. If you buy into alignments and deities as part of that, then yeah, you're just a temple soldier until you hit level 3, and then yeah, you're taking an oath. But the oath should be restricted to your deity that you're serving as part of that. Yeah. So I mean, I 100% follow what you're saying, and that's kind of a cool thing. And you and Mandy were talking about that one night. How neat it would be to have a paladin role play going back to their temple to take their oath at 3 to become the next stage of their evolution, and the storyline is great for that. Even if you figure out other shit for other classes as well along the way,
exactly.
You want to give the moment. Again, this is my paid in public showing. I have to now make sure that 7 people have that moment as customers, or at least check in with them if they want one and provide it. That's what I would avoid those, but it's great for fucking story play, story building, and those y'all that are in friend and family tables, fucking tear it up, man. Because the bard's going to be back there calling stupid jokes trying to get that fucking... I want to do a performance check, see if that damn paladin starts laughing in the middle of his oath. And yeah, okay, you need to do a constitution check to not... you can roleplay and have fun with it interactively as friends and family.
Yep. That's fair, Grim. We kind of did that with Krangor. That was his paladin, his Dragonborn paladin from our first campaign. He was an oathbreaker that we had the one with Saloon where he pledged to her. So he started off as a paladin of an evil god, and that's because that's just where he was, how he came up through the ranks, and then journeying through the Mandalorians, he broke with that, and so he was technically an oath breaker for like a session. And then Saloon was a very big part of that campaign. So then he pledged to Saloon and he became forget the exact oath, but I think I homebrewed an oath for him. But it was basically a paladin of Saloon. And that to me is something that that in that campaign, thank you, Oath of the Lunar Guardian. Every player, if you get to know your players correctly, gets that moment. It might not be inherent to their class. My barbarian, his whole family was slaughtered, and he was from the Frozen North. He was a Goliath, and he had to go through. And he had his moments with regaining the approval of his dead parents and all that stuff. Our pirate captain, she had a horrible backstory because Mandy wrote her own damn backstory, and it was like, you want me to do that to the poor little bunny? She's a hairy guy. She's nice. And you made her into this horrible... Aw. But they all had their moment throughout the campaign. And I feel that without giving the oath or the pact creation gravitas with time in front of the players aren't even going to understand why that's important to the paladin or these other people.
That's legit. That's absolutely legit. You know.
But I would be so down to play that paladin. They've been trying to get me to bring back the Mandalorians. I don't want to.
And that's, for me, that's one of those weird places where I sit, where it's like, I also I will absolutely work with you on your backstory and incorporating elements of it through the course of the campaign, but you got to work with what we have.
Yeah.
For example, and I'm not trying to, I don't know anything about your specifics with Mandy, but the pirate thing, I'm running Silver Marches over here. That's right near the Nether Mountains in the fucking Anarok. Why is your level 2 pirate ass over here? And what's the reason for you being here? And how do we tie this horrific, tragic fate into what we're doing over here on the Anarok without it becoming its own campaign?
Right.
So that's always the challenge, is making sure that we can honor and include our players' creations within the shared experience. And if that means that the shared experience leads a party of 6 3 months off of track, it better be okay with everyone there. Because now we're going to go do your thing and I say 3 months, for me, that's 6 sessions.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of time.
No.
But at a shop, that's 3 months of, man, we've been doing her story arc since fucking June, dude. And it's August, and it's only it's only been 5 sessions. We're almost done.
Right.
That's 3 real world months,
Yeah.
right? So
I think
friend and family paid in public, you have to handle it a little bit differently, unfortunately.
And I do have the grace that I can actually, even if I wanted to, get together with them privately and just say, hey, we're going to record a 15-minute thing, and there it is.
Yeah, let's we'll play it out. You can copy paste it, and you have that shit for notes for your own additions later. Where have you been for the last 2 weeks? I got a story to tell you.
Right. I mean,
and that's the wonderful thing about playing in a modern age with digital formats. Of course, that's also what we did in high school. Let's not lie.
Yeah.
Any of us old dudes. You'd be sitting in 4th period with one other guy that's playing, hey, man, why don't we...
let's just take care of that right now.
Okay. Oh, and you show up Friday night, and Gene be like, oh, did y'all see my news? Or where did you get that? Well, 4th period, that's bullshit. So it wasn't no different back in the 80s, guys.
That's or the 90s, to be fair.
Okay.
I'm a little younger than you, not much, but little. And but I do think that there are moments in every class's progression through the levels where there are points where these are huge things. If you make them huge things, of course you could just go through and you get this and you get that and you get this, moving on to the next thing. And I think that if you have the time and your players want to, and you can get together outside a session, not take up other people's time, it's a great immersive trait that you can add to your campaign. I also understand. I do respect that at the table where you're at, people that you're playing with, they are paying customers, and they might not be available the rest of the time of the week.
I mean, I love the vast majority of my players. I really do. But yeah, there's a couple. It's like one of my players. I have 3 points of contact for them to remind them when a session's coming up. And it's like, that's a lot of effort I don't have to do for a lot of other people, but they're a customer, and they asked me to do it. And 3 messages, 14 seconds the day before the game. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of part of the, getting people to the table is always a thing.
So we're gonna start our wind down here, getting close to the end of the session.
2.5 hours, baby.
Yeah, it's been a great time, but ultimately, I think what we can take from this is, alignment it's not the end all be all. It is not how you should be forced to play your character, but they are good guidelines, and they matter as much as you make them matter.
Yeah, they're the measures that in certain ways your players will get to experience their character's growth and their character's change. If there's no background, but we don't care about alignment here, how do you get to say, I did good in that encounter? Well, we really don't care about alignment, so you did in that encounter.
Exactly.
That was so evil. Well, I mean, Was it? A thing. We don't use alignment, so And when you, I know it sounds kind of smart assish to say that, but if you were to pose that to your characters or your players whenever they did something, that was fucking awesome. By whose guide?
Yeah.
I know that sounds really dry, but that's the frame that you need to put it to when you're explaining alignment. Heroic isn't heroic if there's not fucking despicable.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And going into it, like there are other factions that have alignments. There are worlds that have their own alignments, which we will be getting into next week.
Is that what we're gonna do next week? We're gonna do.
We're gonna start our foray into the wheel, the great wheel.
The cosmic wheel.
Yes, the other outer and inner planes that kind of I guess what's the word? It would be to revolve together to make the world that we're in. Where do you go when you die? What happens when you die? Why, who lives in these places? So that's what we're doing next week. Any closing thoughts, Jim?
That'll be a series.
That will definitely not be a single episode. I'm sure that there's a lot, but
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just the one thing I do want to point out, especially to newer DMs, because alignment has been one of those wonky things the last few years. Make sure if you take anything else out of it, try to express to your players that it is not an indictment of their beliefs as players as much as it is an understanding of a framework for the game world. That's, from my experience, taking something that most modern players don't recognize and adding it to the campaign has added a lot. But that's the single biggest complaint. Well, personally, I'm not here to talk about or judge you personally. We can't do that to any of us because it's not objective. But what we establish for this game is objective. So make sure that you're differing between their behavior as players and their behavior as characters, and don't cross that. Don't try to manipulate their feelings by conflagrating the two. There are times as DMs that we're in those positions. Is that really a good thing to do? And if you're saying that in character, so make sure you understand it, establish with the players. It's not a personal thing. It's not a real moral thing. It's just no different than the name of our planet. We're on Kryn, and on Kryn, this is good, and this is evil, and this is chaotic, and this is lawful. The end.
Fair enough.
So that's why. That's all I would say. Just
couldn't have said it better
use
myself.
It as a frame.
Absolutely. I think we're gonna close out there. That's a great place to end it, and we're gonna do a quick raid. Let me get that set up here. See if I know how to.
Raid.
See if I know how to do that.
Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate that gift sub up there earlier, Mr. Bones. And it was fun chatting with everyone.
It was, man. That was a great convo. We actually talked about our topic for more than
most of
it. We're getting better. We're getting better.
Hey, this is number 2, and this is only your second stream now ever in the ever of ever.
Well, and to be fair,
doing a good job with it, man.
It's very different to stream with someone else. When you solo most of the time, well, all the time, it's a different flow, and I've had a great time. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and for participating in the discussion. If you have questions, if you have topics, if you want to have something for the old guys to talk about, give us a DM. Give me a DM. I'll definitely go over it. We'll come up with something, because it's not us talking at you that I want this to be. It should be, this person had a question. Let's talk about the question, because only together with seeing what you need to know will we know what to talk about. And with that, thanks so much for being here. I think we're gonna raid. Thank you, Mandy, for putting in my raid, because I don't know how to do things. And so we will see you next time. Bye.
Come join me Tuesday.
Oh yes, join Jim Tuesdays through Friday, 11 to 2 or 11 to 1 Central.
Yeah, we're gonna be looking at the Book of Derpy Monsters next Tuesday, man. I can't wait.
Let's go. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.